And what's happening, guys? Literally just finishing my munch. And we're just like a second past 420, guys. So happy 420, guys. What's happening out there? Just got to check that microphone level. How we got audio out there? We do. We got audio anyway today. Thank God. I didn't mess it up like I did last week. Oh, high and homegrown. What's going on? What's he said? That's a deep ass bowl. Yes. Yes, we have a deep ass bowl right here. All right, indeed. Pack this shit up. Oh, what's happening out there, guys? Have you all had a good weekend? I know you've probably got sick of me now at this stage. Friday night, I was with the guys in High and Homegrown. Saturday night, we done a simia class. And then last night, I joined the guys as well for a quick chat there on the High and Homegrown podcast again on the after party. So you might be sick of me, but we have another lineup of news for you today, the 420 news, as always. And we got a bit of negative stuff. But we have a bit of positive stuff there as well. So it's good. We got a mix of news there today as well. So yes, got the bowl packed up. We'll blaze one up and we'll get stuck on into the news. Oh no, give me 1 second, guys, before I go. Will we get stuck into it? Yeah, I'll hit my bowl, and I'm just trying to think where to do it. Yeah, in a few secs, I've got a couple of minutes. I'll be playing you a clip from Dr. Bobby Smyth, the old scumbag himself. So while I play a clip from him in a few minutes, I'll run downstairs and grab myself some lubrication for the old mouth. Yes. A lovely bowl of, what is it that's on the menu today, actually? 8472? It is. It's 8472. Yes, it is indeed. So we have a bowl of 8472 packed up here. Compliments out to Temple Grower, nice one for the genetics, buddy, and compliments also to the actual grower of this. You know who you are. Great work. Let's blaze one. Glorious old stuff. Shout out to everybody in the comments section, everybody in the hot box, guys. The nice festive hot box. Do you like it? Huh? The lovely old balls there, big moon rocks. Those are resin filled baubles. What's happening anyway? Shout out to High and Homegrown in the audience. We got Keith Griffin in the audience. What's happening? DB Woodcraft is out there. Hype is out there. Papa Gummy Bear in the audience as well. We got Woody. Papa John Finnegan. What's happening, John Finnegan? Fecker, he killed me in the rock, paper, scissors game. Alexis won't be happy, John. You need to donate your prizes should you win to Alexis, okay, John? And by that I mean me. Green Tea's in the audience. What's happening, Green Tea? Hope all is well. Or as our buddy GB likes to call you, Tay Gloss. Or Gloss Tay. High and Homegrown's telling everybody to hit that like button for him. So guys, make sure you do what Mackie says. Hit that like button, or he's going to put on the gimp mask, and you know what he'll do once he's that on then. High and Homegrown says still got 16 days left of self-imposed ban. No, Mackie. It's times like this you could do with a time machine, huh? Others in the audience, Barry Battlefield, what's going on? Barry Fields Battle Clips, actually, not Barry Battlefield. DB Woodcraft says, what the F, I have a spanner? You do indeed. I gifted a couple of my regular audience members there a spanner. And guys, if you are a regular audience member and if you would like a spanner, if you'd like to be a moderator of the chat, by all means, let me know and I'll add you into the crew. It's good to have a nice team of spanners out there to keep order in the hot boxes. Sometimes, people can get a bit hot under the collar inside in there and could be just spouting all sorts of nonsense. So it's good to have a team in there to keep order in the hot box. Yes, the hammers. Love it. John, I thought I gave you one as well. Oh, I did too. You're commenting over on you're on Facebook at the moment. So if you go over there to YouTube, John, you'll notice that you've been gifted an old spanner set as well, buddy. So yes, guys, what does it? Use those tools wisely. Yes, love it. So let's get the first headline out of the way for you today, guys, and we'll get stuck on into the others then after that. The first one I have lined up for you today is coming out of County Galway. Where in County Galway there was a recent meeting of the Joint Police Committee, the JPC, and they were told that €10 million worth of illegal drugs have been circulating on the streets of Galway City since the beginning of the year. And how they came up with this figure, guys, is basically they're really giving themselves like a lot of credit here, and they're saying that they managed to stop 10% of the drugs reaching the streets of Galway this year. And in Galway, they estimate that there was over €1 million worth of drugs seized this year. So from that, 10% seized, so 1%, 1 million is 10%, so 10 million is obviously 100%. So that's how they were coming up with this facts and figures. But I definitely would say that they're giving themselves a lot more credit than they're due. Now, I will admit that the Gardaí have really upped their efforts since the start of this bloody pandemic thing. Because they're not dealing with the typical nightlife as they once used to, and they're not dealing with the typical like streets as they used to, I suppose. They're able to conduct a lot more stop and searches now as a result of this extra time that they've been afforded. So therefore the rate of detection goes up. But I would still say, that there was probably a lot more than €10 million worth of drugs sold above in Galway. Galway, is a busy spot, and I reckon, once the restrictions were lowered there a bit, and once nightlife got opened a little bit, I reckon Galway probably got hit with a passion. Lads gone up there for kind of meeting up with one another, probably doing, whatever they do on a night out. But it's definitely a busy spot, and it's funny if you go back to just over a year ago as well. And I'll pop this headline up on screen there now for you. But this was a headline in, I think it was the Galway Tribune or one of those news outlets. On a second there now, and there it is. So this was from just earlier this year. Actually, it was from October 31st, and this was following. And many of you might remember this, guys. Out in Eyre Square, there was a lady who I think there was permanent damage done to her. I don't know, did she lose a sight in one of her eyes or something? I think was something I was hearing going around. No, that's just rumors. I haven't seen anything to back that up, but yeah, she got a slap in the face of a firework up in Eyre Square. And following on from that, then there was a number of people kind of speaking out, councillors and stuff like that, as to the problem of antisocial behaviour going on up there in Galway. So like the councillors now, from given the recent comments in the Cork Joint Police, or from the Joint Policing Committee, they're calling for more Gardaí to be put into the drug squad. But that's not what you need up there at all. Like in fact, like, you look at this, like the antisocial behaviour that's going on up there. Again, Galway is quite a busy spot. It attracts in a lot of people from around the rest of Ireland as a place to go and celebrate one's birthday, stag and stuff like that. It's kind of up there with Kilkenny as another spot that's well frequented by Irish people, as a place to go and celebrate a night out. So they're definitely in need of more street patrols up there. And a lot of this antisocial behaviour as well that occurred apparently in Eyre Square is a result of efforts of the Gardaí in other areas. Apparently the Gardaí are out there patrolling other areas, and they're kind of letting this area then go under patrolled. And then a lot of the people who would have went to these other areas are kind of congregating now in Eyre Square, as there's less of a presence of Gardaí above there. So again, it's just really annoying to see these kind of headlines, these statistics being used to divert essential resources away from places where they would be best spent. And I'm talking about manpower of Gardaí. I would much rather there be extra Gardaí up there patrolling the streets, walking around, not being tasked to go out there and stop and search people for drugs. It's, if you witness drug use going on, okay, look, they're going to interfere with that. That's just the nature of patrols. But, if there's a lady getting attacked, if there's a young fella getting robbed, extra patrols might do a lot to deter that stuff, or to intercept that stuff as it happens. But if you're giving extra guards to the drug squad, well, those guys sadly are not going to be out there walking around the place, patrolling the streets, just looking for general crime. No, they're going to be driving around and they're going to be profiling young fellas, maybe wearing a Martin's World hat with Dace and Cannabis leaves on the side, Shout out to the merch store. But again, that's what really annoys me about this, is these statistics being used, again, just to take resources away from places where they would be much, much better spent. So we drive on from there, guys, and I see who's out there in the audience. I see somebody is above in Galway. Keith, so what's happening, Keith? Galway is where I am, Martin. Nice one, Keith. Hopefully you don't be getting too much hassle above there in Galway. And let's hope they're not successful in getting these extra recruits for the drug squad. And, the resources are spent wisely and sent to places where they're actually needed, where a lot of drunk people hang out. And, drunk people can be quite problematic. And us cannabis consumers, we just need to be left the hell alone until the government gets their heads out of their arses and decriminalises our community, So shout out to Keith there above in Galway. What's happening? I see Casa de Strogas joining the party in the hotbox, and Run On Divney's out there as well. Straw Clips is after joining us. What's happening, Straw? And Zaggles as well. Welcome to the chat, guys. Welcome to the hotbox. Christian Jazz in the hotbox as well, guys. Anybody else I missed? Hunter K, what's happening, Hunter? And nice one again for supporting the merch store there, Hunter, with your purchases over the weekend. So appreciate that. And Callum as well. What's happening, Callum? Callum says, what is it? Smoking the Star Dog. Is it smoking on Cookie Dog actually all weekend? Nice. That's a change from the Star Dog anyway. Happy days, man. Blaze on that stuff. Sounds good. Who's that? Hades Lord. What's happening? Hades Lord says, Galway is getting crazy nowadays. 2 cars burning right in front of my house in the last 30 days. The second one last Friday. The first time they sent an old ass Garda looking a week before retiring. So I take it Hades Lord is above there in the Galway area as well, and is noticing some of this antisocial behaviour going on. And again, 2 cars burning, it's not drug squad you need above there. No, it's just regular old community police just to go out there and kind of keep law and order, and we need to just remove this prohibition of drugs, because again, it's just making that Garda force ineffective in their duty. Just don't forget Operation Tara, over 300 Gardaí full-time tasked at one thing only, tackling the problem of drugs. What a waste. Kind of broke it down there one day on the show. It was like over 14 million euro that operation is going to be costing the state in just 12 months. Appalling use of taxpayers' money. And that was being modest, you know what I mean? That was being modest in terms of the amount of overtime that they might be doing and stuff under Operation Tara. That bill could probably be in excess of 20 million there to the Irish taxpayers. But sure, we won't really hear anything about that at all, will we? But we drive on, because something we do hear about recently, and that's a lot of fear-mongering coming from those who are fearful of cannabis legalisation and the decriminalisation of our community. This is coming from a guy you probably know of. I mentioned him at the start, Bobby Smyth. Prohibitionist Bobby Smyth is back in the media, spreading his misinformation about cannabis as the campaign for decriminalisation goes into top gear for 2022. And what I'm referring to there is that in 2022, we're not going to have just one, but 2 opportunities to decriminalise our community, as TD Gino Kenny with People Before Profit will be putting forward his bill that looks to follow in the footsteps of countries like Luxembourg and possibly Malta as well, who have a similar model, it seems, to Luxembourg, where they're going to decriminalise the growing of cannabis and the setting up of cannabis social clubs. And but the sale of cannabis will still remain illegal. So that's one thing that's happening next year. And then also next year is we're going to have the Citizens' Assembly. The Citizens' Assembly is looking at the wider idea of decriminalising all drug users, which includes cannabis consumers. So not one, but 2 opportunities next year for us as a community to undo this discrimination that we face every day that this prohibition remains in place. So prohibitionists like Bobby Smyth and the others out there, Mary Cannon and the likes, the regulars, who'll come out and spout their nonsense, but they'll do it in their own echo chamber. They'll never do it in a debate style situation situation where you can challenge them on their views. Bobby Smyth went on the radio yesterday and he was quickly off before anyone could challenge him on his views, you know, and he does it all the time on Twitter. He'll post and he'll ghost, you know. And it's really annoying that he gets so much airtime, especially when he's not allowing his views to be challenged. It's like, if you're going to give this guy airtime, come on, at least only do it if he's allowing his views to be challenged by another person of a similar stature. You know, maybe somebody like Dr. Garrett McGovern, who's doing an incredible job in arguing for a change of our drug policies here in order to achieve better harm reduction and to reduce, you know, the stigma and all of that stuff that goes with the prohibition of cannabis and other drugs too. Garrett McGovern's an absolute legend. But also, you know, maybe another another person by the name of Professor David Nutt. Professor David Nutt, who's releasing a book later next year. His book, Cannabis, Seeing Through the Smoke, will be out in February. And he wrote the book as he wanted the book to tell the truth about the drug, with what science really shows us, and to empower people to make choices based on good information. And that's a quote there from Professor David Nutt. But you know, I would love to see maybe Bobby Smyth up against maybe somebody like Professor David Nutt, and to have the conversation out. As like Bobby Smyth here is spreading this misinformation around cannabis, because he's talking about a silent epidemic that's currently existing in Ireland. And again, he basically gives away his whole position in the closing statement of his interview on the Irish Independent. And he says, cannabis is unique in that there is a campaign to normalise it. That pro-cannabis campaign probably needs to be countered with a fact-based campaign informing people of the risks and harms. It's like, well, Bobby, come on, buddy. Like, in fairness, you know, if you want to talk about the risks and harms, how can you do it absent of talking about the risks and harms that are included by prohibiting these substances in the first place? Do you know what? Like, cannabis is currently way more available because of prohibition, because us as adult consumers, quite often or not, we have to entertain the idea of getting it off of a person under the age of 18. I've had that situation. I've talked about it here in the show. Prohibition put me in a position where I went to buy cannabis one day, and a person, like, literally, he's under the age of 18 for sure. He was easy, like 15, 16, and he came down and he sold me cannabis, and I was rather disgusted, because I was 30 at the time, 31 at the time, and it's just kind of like, this guy is half of my age, and I'm down here buying cannabis, and I don't want to be supporting this, but at the same time, I wanted the cannabis he had because it seemed nice. It was advertised over Snapchat by a person who definitely wasn't the guy who came down to me, for sure, because I heard the guy's voice, and he's sounded about the same age as myself. So a guy out there taking advantage of a young person. Why? Because of prohibition. Bobby Smyth won't talk about this, you know. Do you know what Bobby Smyth does? He skews statistics. Like, do you know how like he talks about bringing facts and stuff like that into the discussion in order to counter the campaign for legalization. But look what he done last year. This was off an article, and again, this came by the way of Crown. So shout out to Getting On It, who shared this. It was a cutout from an article, again shared in the Irish Independent last year, where again Bobby Smyth got to go off unchallenged and spout all of this nonsense. He talks about how in Europe 0.8% of 16-year-olds use cannabis daily, according to the European School Survey Project on alcohol and other drugs. That rate has been quite static over the past 25 years, he says. And then he goes on to say, in the US, however, the Monitoring the Future survey from the National Institute on Drug Abuse has found that 4.4% of 16-year-olds use cannabis daily. This rate is 5 times higher than it was in the early 1990s. So again, like he's like, look at that time frame he's trying to use there to bring in a small little change. It's only 4.4% like, already, and he's trying to say, oh, it's 5 times higher. So divide 4.4 by 5. That's like 1, let's say, of 1%. So over 30 years, you've only seen like a 3% rise in cannabis use in people under the age of 16. That's not a bad increase, you know. And again, the studies coming out of places where cannabis has been legalized is actually showing that the rate of cannabis use among their younger population is either plateauing or it's decreasing. Why might it be decreasing? Because maybe the rebellious factor that was once there with cannabis, you're being told not to do this thing, which makes you ultimately sometimes want to do this thing. So again, you know, that the removal of that factor would again, reduce the amount of young people who would be using the cannabis. Again, also coupled with the fact that they might be witnessing their uncle or their aunt or their granny using cannabis to deal with one of many conditions which cannabis is prescribed for across the US. That too will factor into a young person's choice to use cannabis. You know, it's like, well, that's my granny's glaucoma medicine. It's like, it's not even that cool. Like, it's just like, yeah, that doesn't even, it won't even phase them, you know. Whereas here in Ireland, under the model of prohibition, and I grew up, it's like my cousins are doing this thing. It's like this cool thing that you're doing, you know, at the back of the flats in the Glen, having a smoke with the boys, do you know. Whereas if it was your granny's medicine, you know, it's like it loses that cool factor, you know. Also, then, what he done in this final paragraph in this. He refers to Canada, where Canada legalised recreational cannabis use in 2018, and a staggering 9% of 16 to 19-year-olds use cannabis daily, according to the National Cannabis Survey. And again, very well pointed out, I believe, by getting on it over on Crown, or it could have been someone else who pointed this out, but in Canada, cannabis is legal for people 18 and over to consume. So again, like, they're incredibly misinforming the public there as to the statistics there, because again, people 18 to 19 are actually legally allowed to use cannabis, so therefore, yeah, the rate of usage is going to be a little bit more higher. But I'd imagine if you zoned in on the 16 to 17-year-olds, that was probably a lot closer to the average there across the rest of the world, you know. But again, you know, what Bobby Smyth won't, what he won't talk about is Holland, where cannabis has been tolerated since the 70s, right? In Holland, it's not legal. It's just tolerated. And it's been tolerated for over 50 years now. And in 2020, Holland was voted the best place for your kid to grow up happy by UNICEF. Like, that is, like, that'll tell you how great Holland is. It's one of the best places in the world, according to UNICEF, where your kid can actually grow up happy. And then when you look closer at Holland, like, you know, they tolerate cannabis use, and it's kind of almost normalized there in some way. Again, it's only tolerated. It's not legal. It's only tolerated. But what they've managed to achieve there is they've managed to maintain their adult use rate of cannabis, like, at an average of the European level. And you would think, you know, because it's more available, you can walk into a coffee shop, that there's going to be more people using it. But no, it's kind of on par with what the European average is. And guess whose adult rate is higher than Holland's, where cannabis is tolerated and easily accessible? Ireland's is the highest. Like, I believe Holland's was somewhere in the region of like was it like between 9 and 11%, I think. I'm just going off the top of my head now. But Ireland was 17%. Like, you know, that's a mighty jump. That's like 5 or 6% jump there. And again, cannabis is illegal here. It's tolerated there. Well, why was there more people here using it? Is it because, you know, they might have started at an early age because it was a cool thing to do, and, you know, they continued using it into their later years? Quite possibly. What about Holland's teenagers in terms of Europe? It is below average. Yeah, would you believe that? A place where cannabis is easily accessible, they've actually got a below average rate of use for their teenage population compared to Ireland. Whereas Ireland is the highest. Or it's among the highest. I'm not too sure where exactly it ranks for teenage population, but it is up there in the highest for rate of use in amongst our teenage population. So again, you know, Bobby Smyth, come on, buddy, have an honest conversation. You know, you want to talk about spreading the facts there to combat the misinformation of the legalization campaign. It's like, come on, what about the holes in your argument, buddy? Do you know, you argue for a system where, you know, and in the article they talk about the statistics there, that in 2003, you know, that you would have had about 4 or 5 to 10% of the work of Bobby Smyth's being in relation to young people in cannabis, whereas now it's about 75% of his work. Like, how did that happen, Bobby? Was that because under the model of prohibition, these young people found cannabis is incredibly easy to access, you know? And another question I'd asked then as well, you know, of the, I believe it was 2019 here. I'm just looking for the statistic here now. In 2019, there was, how many kids? There was, yes, there is. There was 697 kids in treatment for cannabis, or for all drugs. And that fell back to 579 in 2020. So there was a bit of a decrease there between 2019 and 2020, but I have to ask the question, you know, those 600 odd kids who are up there for addiction to drugs, how many of them are actually in the state's care? And how many of those, you know, have come from troubled homes, you know, who've been abused, who've really just not live the life that a child should live. And therefore, you know, their drug use, their drug addiction, you know, is actually just a symptom of a much bigger underlying issue, you know. And it doesn't even have to be a kid in care, you know. How many of those kids actually just had a bad existence growing up, or maybe they just got mental health problems, and therefore, you know, they're directed towards cannabis because what do we see? You know, people self-medicate. They use cannabis because it helps with something that they're suffering with. And you would label that person as an addict, whereas that person is just like, well, actually, you know, I'm just kind of like trying to get a base level here to myself because like I was way out of whack without cannabis, and cannabis just brought me back to some level of normality. And now you're going to be like literally gaslighting me, sitting there with your white coats, you know, in a position that I'm supposed to respect your authority, and you're gaslighting me now, and you're telling me that what I'm doing, I'm an addict, you know, you're putting all these thoughts into my head, and you'd make me question myself then as a person before you know, with maybe a mental health issue. You're going to be treating the addiction, and you're not actually going to be treating the underlying mental health issue. So Bobby Smyth doesn't talk about all of this stuff, you know. So isn't it any wonder that Holland is a place where kids are happier to grow up? Because at least if a kid presents, you know, with a mental health problem there and they're using cannabis, it's going to be like, you know, that cannabis is not going to be that much of a problem. It's like the kid has a mental health problem. Let's deal with that. Do you know, is the cannabis really a big factor? Is it causing a big problem there? Well, if yes, well, we can deal with that, you know, but it's not the main problem. Or if it's no, it's like, well, no, it's not a problem. So yes, Bobby Smyth, man, full of holes in his argument, and he won't afford anyone an opportunity to poke holes in his argument, you know. So what's everybody saying out there in the hot box? Zaggles, don't forget everybody that the only way things get done quick is with a bunch of tools. And others out there, Hunter K, can't wait to get my Martin's World beanie. Nice one, Hunter K. And Hype sharing the link there for the merch store in the chat over on YouTube as well. Nice one for that, Hype. Callum Cully says, some good writing, nothing better. Big Pharma loves big corporations, can't be questioned. John Finnegan said, fell asleep listening to the High and Homegrown stream last night. Mackie's no smoking voice is so soothing. Lovely, lovely. Other comments out there. John Lennon, image, imagine all the people, respect from image of all the people. Is that what? Sorry, he's John Lennon, image all the people. Imagine all the people. Is that respect from Waterford, man? Nice one, Bob Marley. Sorry, I was just trying to make sense of the comment there, dude. Rasher says less kids seen because of COVID. Yeah, that's true as well. That's probably a reason for the drop off there, quite possibly. Pods for 420 saying, bang on there, Martin. You can guarantee those numbers are manipulated in some way or form. Chilbert says, Holland shows honesty with kids is best policy. There you go. There you fucking go, man. Keith Griffin says, if you need any more moderators, Martin, I'll help you out. Nice one, Keith. Appreciate that, dude. I'll see if I can add moderators over there in the Facebook chat if that's ever needed. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, High and Homegrown saying there, imagine all the people. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was saying, all right, the John Lennon song. But I was reading something there recently that was like John Lennon's like family is traced back like the roots in Wexford or something like that. Was that what I was reading there recently? He's definitely got some roots there in Ireland anyway in terms of his family, his parents and grandparents. And Barry Field says, buy Vera's book. Nice one, Barry. And what's happening, Man Falls? Giving an old wave there from over on Twitch. Nice one for that, Man Falls. Welcome to the stream as always, buddy. And guys, we go from one person who has holes in his argument, and we go to another place. We won't actually. We'll go to Bobby Smyth. As Bobby Smyth was on News Talk, and there's something he says at the end of this that sends us into the next headline. So let's listen to Bobby Smyth, the clown himself.
Cannabis addiction in under 18s has been snowballing silently in the background to unprecedented numbers. That's the view of our next guest, Bobby Smyth, who is a child psychiatrist working at Adolescent Addiction Services in Dublin. Bobby, how big is this problem?
It's substantial, Shane, and I guess has been probably for the last 6 or 8 years, to be honest with you. But there's no sign of it declining. So certainly in adolescent addiction services in Dublin and indeed across Ireland, cannabis is far and away the biggest driver of demand for addiction treatment for people under the age of 18, accounting for about three quarters of all referrals.
I have to say, like, I'm shocked by that, but I also am not that surprised. I have seen quite a bit of it, and I have seen quite a bit of, very young people who are engaging in this. How has it become so prevalent?
I suppose it's become perhaps a little bit normalised amongst certain sections of young people. And when I say certain sections, I mean the truth is, you're getting cannabis use in every school, in every town, all across Ireland. So it's not that it hits any particular demographic group, but you'll get a subgroup within a school who get into cannabis, and that becomes a core part of how they socialise. They're often going into it rather blind to its risks, and things can escalate then for some members of that group where it becomes something that they're really struggling to maintain control of, and it starts dominating their lives.
It's become normalised in your view. How do we change that, or can we change that?
I think we can change it. Like if we look across other substances, from my job was created back 20 years ago because of the heroin epidemic amongst adolescents, and we've largely gotten on top of that. Tobacco use was completely normalised, 30 years or so ago, and we've managed to get on top of that as well. And largely in both cases, it's by communicating very clearly to young people hazards and risks is a starting point.
And those hazards and risks are what exactly, Bobby? Just spell it out for us.
Well, certainly one is obviously the addiction issues that can crop up from it. There's other real mental health concerns. As a psychiatrist, I suppose the number one concern, rare but really serious, can be emergence of psychotic illnesses. Rare. More common,
rare. At least you said rare.
Can be development of anxiety problems, depressive problems. There's concerns about its impact on memory and cognition, decline in academic performance.
I got
as
all
people
high
get
grades.
more and more into cannabis, they tend to disengage from other activities.
Okay.
And parents can be a bit complacent. I think a lot of parents could do with more information and knowledge and understanding of its risks as well. Two really quick things,
Bobby. Yeah. How young are some of the people? I don't know if you're in a position to answer this, but how young are some of the people coming before you?
The bulk of the people attending the service will be 16, 17, but we would occasionally see 13, 14-year-olds. And the 16, 17-year-olds we're seeing will typically report onset of use from around the age of 13 or so.
And to those people who will text in, and they will text into the show saying we should legalise cannabis, what's your response to that?
I guess that will just provide another source of supply for adolescents. So I think it'll make the situation worse. The criminals aren't going to go away. They haven't gone away in the locations where it's been legalised elsewhere.
Okay. Dr. Bobby Smyth, thank you indeed for talking to.
So again, Bobby, getting an opportunity on the radio to go on and spout all these nonsense and not be challenged, But again, Bobby Smyth, man, I'll always challenge you, buddy. Not a bother at all. Any day, anytime you name the place, I'll be there. I'll be ready. And anything at all, I don't even have to prepare, man. I'll just come as I am. I don't even have to do any back reading. You try me what you want and I'll smash any argument you make, man, because you cannot defend prohibition today. You know what I mean? That's why you want to go on in this kind of echo chamber for your own, where you don't get challenged on your views. Because you can't defend prohibition. You can't. You can go on. You can argue for it. But if somebody challenges you, man, you're going to crumble, man. It's a house of cards. That's what it is. And see, it's going to crumble, man. But Bobby Smyth finished off in saying there, in places where they legalised cannabis, the criminals have not gone away. And why is that, Bobby? Is it possible that places where cannabis has been legalised, that they've kind of fecked it up? People like yourself with your prohibitionist rhetoric, your overregulation, you've created a situation then where the black market persists, and that's happening over in Canada now, exactly. And that's the next headline that I was going to go to there a few minutes ago, but I had to get Bobby's thing in first. Where Canada's legal cannabis market currently has a lot of potholes, and there's a little pun there, yes. And that's because of a ban ban on cannabis retail in certain areas, creating potholes in Canada's cannabis market, driving some customers to the black market. Yes, that is because of an overregulation there, because some municipalities over there have the power not to ban cannabis retail, but they got the power about not to permit it. Do you know that they can? It's all around licensing, the releasing of licenses. So some councils just won't release any licenses. At least that's how I was kind of understanding it there. Anyway. And as a result of that, then it's putting consumers in harm's way, because many of them, are opting to go the black market route, and that's the hazardous. Others are having to leave their municipality to drive to areas where they're able to get cannabis and then drive back again, taking this unnecessary long journey. Again, you look at Canada where it is, and some places where you can't get your cannabis, they got like fucking a couple of inches of snow and shit like that, and moving around is quite dangerous at times, and if you can reduce the amount of times you have to move, happy days. Or if you reduce the distance you have to move, better again, Also, it's creating a problem for cannabis dispensaries over there, as while some cannabis retail outlets are not allowed to set up a brick and mortar store within certain areas, they are allowed to deliver cannabis to the area, which again is adding to the cost of providing the service there. So either the customer is paying it, or the business is losing out on the money. And again, who's losing out too? The environment. Because there's more fuel has to be consumed now, as people have to go further afield to get access to cannabis, which they're so rightfully able to do. And again, the discriminatory laws again over in Canada make it that, like, if you're renting a house, your landlord can turn around and say, no, you're not allowed to grow cannabis in that property, which is kind of weird. Imagine having a property where your landlord was able to say to you, no, you're not allowed to grow sunflowers on the windowsill, like, you're not allowed to do this or do that. Like, and I suppose they kind of can do that in certain contracts and stuff like that, but still, it's very absurd, isn't it? So, Bobby Smyth, there's your answer as to why these criminals kind of continue to persist. Also, in other places across America, you're seeing the cannabis the cannabis gangs that are existing in legal states. They're actually more focused on outward sales of cannabis to states where cannabis remains illegal. Quite often, they're not operating with other gangs across state lines. Just sending the cannabis to one of the states where the prohibition remains, and they're able to get nearly twice to 4 times as much as what they would have got for it in that legal state. So again, how prohibition is actually fucking it up for states where they've legalized it, because when prohibition remains in one state, and it's legal in another, well, the gangs are just going to go to the legal state to move their product over to the illegal state, thereby creating a problem, a danger within the legal state then for those progressive people who've seen the sense, the way forward. But it's getting wrecked then by these other prohibitionists, and their nonsense. So there you go, Bobby Smyth, man. Like like he needs to be challenged. Somebody needs to get up. I know Garrett McGovern would love to have 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes with the guy back and forth, and I'd be more than happy to facilitate that. But Bobby Smyth is never going to do that, and the reason why is because his arguments do not hold up. He can go on about his facts, his statistics, but then as soon as you just talk about, like, you're ignoring the prohibition. It's like, how are kids getting access to cannabis so easily? Well, because of prohibition. Bobby won't answer that question, He'll never bring that up, Cannabis, like, well, why is it there's 12-year-olds can easily get cannabis today? Like, there's 12-year-olds selling cannabis on Snapchat. Come on, like. So fucking annoying. But we drive on from Bobby Smyth anyway, and I popped up a few pictures there of Garrett McGovern as well. I think you might have seen his tweets there and stuff like that. I was popping those up on screen. Again, you've seen some of the responses there. We might pop up Mary Cannon there as well, actually, as she shared Bobby's article, and it got some interesting responses. She's got 24 responses to her article. And none of them positive in her favour. So there's Mary Cannon, and she's quoting her buddy Bobby, like she loves Bobby. Mary and Bobby up a tree doing something they shouldn't be, such as prohibiting my cannabis. Couldn't get a rhyme there towards the end, I tried. But yes, here's Mary Cannon. She's another child psychiatrist, psychiatric nurse or whatever she is, a professor. She actually hates cannabis so much. She made an effort there to get involved in the New Zealand campaign. Where the New Zealand citizens were voting on a referendum to allow adults access to cannabis and end the discrimination there. And Mary Cannon felt that the need to get involved over there, back then at that time. And I done a little video about a year ago now on that, September of last year, I think that was. But yeah, that's when she first came on my radar, actually, interestingly enough. And yeah, man, she hasn't disappointed since. She gave me lots of fucking material to be kind of going on about, because she's a staunch prohibitionist, again, who'll ignore the health effects of prohibition, and she'll continuously go on about the health effects of cannabis. Which you see some of the comments up there. The sock monster, the THC content of modern weed sold in Ireland is a lot stronger than it was in the hash and herbal cannabis 25 to 30 years ago. This is the prime reason why legislation and regulation of cannabis levels of THC would help. But Mary and Bobby are too blind or ignorant to see this, So guys, good stuff out there, educating. I see lots of familiar faces up here, lots of people who'll be following, myself as well. So good stuff, guys. See Brendan Minish there. Brendan Minish saying, it is a medicine. It should be sold in shops, and the law is stupid. It was stupid when I was 18, and it's still stupid now that I'm 52. 52. Imagine spending that many years of your life existing in this prohibition, where you aren't free to be able to grow this plant that you enjoy so much. Prohibition has simply made everything much more dangerous for everyone, including the kids. Yes, guys, think of the kids. End prohibition. Think of the kids. Legalise, regulate, tax, and educate. Yes, Brennan, I'll hit that retweet button there now for that one as well. Legend. Others out there, Bernard Wallace says, if it was regulated in a legal market, there would be less opportunity for abuse by teenagers. Safe access is beneficial to everyone. Yeah. I'll hit retweeting Brendan's as well, or Bernard's. Nice one, Bernard. Good stuff, guys. Lots of comments coming in there, guys. Well done to everybody who's giving their piece of their mind. It's good to see so many people out there kind of challenging these prohibitionists. But, Mary's not responded to a single person. Not a single one. Come on, where is it? Come on, where is it? Not in Mary. Mary, come on. Because Mary doesn't want to get caught out in her arguments. She'll post her piece and she'll ghost. She'll just ghost, despite all of the very, very valid arguments being brought up here underneath, what's Johnny Williams saying? As someone who smoked a stupid amount of skunk in uni and watched mates develop psychosis, it is so important that governments decriminalise and regulate drugs the way that alcohol is. We don't let the public consume anything greater than 50% alcohol. Other drugs need to be regulated too. There you go, as somebody who smokes stupid amount of skunk and watched mates develop psychosis, he's highlighting the fact here, that they had no way of actually determining the strength of their cannabis. And, some of his friends, unfortunately, as he says here, developed psychosis as a result, of too strong a cannabis too often. Maybe they were just sensitive to it, and, they would have been better protected if they were able to go in and get that Bud Light. Yes, Bud Light, get it? Hey. Yes, Malice. Last comment from Malice. The abuse of any substance is just that, abuse, hence why it needs to be regulated and sold in licensed shops. I am on 4 different tablets to help with mental health conditions, and they do little to nothing. Cannabis alleviates my symptoms like nothing else. Regulate and tax it. Yes, good stuff, Malice. Nice one. So there you go, guys. That's over on Mary Cannon. She's getting a lot of stick. And keep giving it to her too, guys. Keep educating that lady, just this prohibitionist rhetoric, that's what's causing the most danger to our kids. She needs to be repeated and repeated and repeated every time this lady voices her opinion that cannabis is harmful for the health and we need to keep it illegal for that reason. It's just look at the effects of prohibition. That's Keith Griffin new 10 out of 10 for effort, Martin. Nice one. Yes. Oh, this wench. Says Pods. John Finnegan says Martin's World entry to Eurovision in 0 points. From John Finnegan, 0 points. Fuck you, John. Yes. Shaitan in the Bucket says where they're getting their information from their other buddies who support the idea of prohibition. That's where it's coming from. Mary likes to do her own studies and get her own students to do studies there, where she kind of forces her opinions probably down their throat. Go find, like, look at this, look how bad cannabis is causing a problem here. Ignore the fact that this kid before you, his mum and dad died in a bloody horrible car crash, and he's grown up without him, and so it's terrible. There's no family. Cannabis is the problem. that was a bit of a wild story. Hi, balls like a Ballingelly tiger. DB Woodcraft. Mary who? Mary, quite contrary. Bob Marley says, Bob Marley bad card is the tunes. Skatana says, Mary the Cannon is no longer canon. She decides to shut up as we challenge her smut. Nice and scatness there with a few rhyming words. Yes, love it. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Malta is legalizing tomorrow. Guys, yes. And that's bringing us lovely timing there. Whoop, whoop. No, whoop, wop, wop, whoop. Yes, that brings us into our next headline. This is coming out of Malta, where church-run schools have been heavily lobbying parents to sign a petition to amend cannabis bill. This was a petition that was being pushed there heavily by some of these schools and different NGOs across Malta. They managed to rack up, I believe it was 8,000 signatures over the weekend. But again, it was the religious schools, again, just imparting their moral fucking panic here. Oh, we can't be doing this, crazy stuff. But despite their efforts, none of the amendments which they were recommending got accepted, which is great to hear. It really is good to hear that none of them have been accepted, because one of the amendments they wanted to make was to make the age limit increased from 18 to 25. Kind of citing, that the brain isn't fully developed until 25, so therefore you shouldn't allow an adult to use cannabis until then. But all that really does, as the health minister, I believe it was, argued back, is those between the age of 18 to 25 are now at risk of getting cannabis from the black market and being criminalised as a result, of obtaining cannabis from the black market and being in possession of it underage, which is problematic. Another restriction they wanted, or amendment they wanted to impose on the bill, was to increase the restrictions from areas designated, kind of off limits for cannabis social clubs, from 250 meters to 1 kilometer. Which, I don't know, guys, if you know the island of Malta, I'm just going to pull her up. Malta, it's a small enough island, I'll pull her up there on Google Maps. Beautiful spot, actually. Managed to have a nice little trip over there with Casas, just that's Dragas out there. But there's Malta. That's pretty small. So they wanted to increase it from 250 meters to 1 kilometer, which effectively would have meant that you wouldn't have been able to have a cannabis social club pretty much anywhere on the island. That's all of Malta. If they increased it from 250 meters to 1 kilometer, that would have made it virtually impossible for a cannabis social club to be kind of set up and run. So that didn't get accepted either, which is great news. So these were some of the amendments that were heavily pushed there by these kind of church-run schools and some of these more kind of, I don't know what you call them, the different kind of conservative NGO groups. But despite the lobbying anyway, the bill is going to its third and final vote tomorrow. And if it's accepted tomorrow, and it looks like it will be accepted tomorrow, it will be then signed by the President of Malta right after it's voted. And if the vote's accepted, the President of Malta will then sign it later that day. And it'll be enacted then by the weekend. And that then effectively, guys, will make Malta take the title of the first European country to legalize the growing of cannabis and the setting up of cannabis social clubs for its citizens. But the sale of cannabis will still remain illegal. So you know what I mean, small steps, I suppose. I think that's a pretty big victory, to be able to grow your own cannabis and to have your own clubs. It sounds pretty good, I'll applaud at this point. And then I'll say, but however, if you're in possession of up to or more than 28 grams or up to 28 grams of cannabis, you can still get a fine of 50 to 100 euro, but you won't get a criminal record with that. Those under the age of 18 will still be go before a commission of justice for a recommendation of a care plan rather than face arrest. And those who consume cannabis in front of children face fines of between 300 euro and 500 euro. Now, I'm not too sure what they mean by this in terms of like consume cannabis in front of children. It's like, you know, if you're a consumer there and you go out to your back garden and your kid is in your kitchen, but you got a patio door and the kid can see through, and your neighbour sees you from the back balcony, you know what I mean? Because it's a small island, as you've seen, and everybody's probably living on top of each other, and your child sees you and your neighbour reports you, or the social services going to get involved. I don't know. Look, I'm just kind of wondering, you know, and just kind of seeing where problems could potentially arise, but I hope they don't, you know, I really do hope they don't. But also, you know, if you're a home grower, you're only allowed to grow 4 cannabis plants. You're only allowed to be in possession of up to 50 grams of cannabis in your home, which again is a problem. If you're growing 4 plants and you're only allowed 50 grams, it's like, that don't make no sense. And then it's just like, how do you accommodate for people who'd like to maybe make their own hash and maybe be able to store and age their hash for periods of time and stuff like that? Loads of problems still there, but look, you can still grow 4 plants. You can still have up to 50 grams of cannabis. Look, it's a little victory. Happy fucking days. They'll be the first to legalise cannabis there. I look forward to seeing what comes from other European countries. You know, as we do know, Germany's looking to legalise cannabis, you know, in a much larger sense of the word. And also Luxembourg are looking to do their own model of kind of a legalisation, such as what Malta are doing here. Whereas Germany are actually legalising the sale of cannabis, I believe, through retail outlets. And then also Italy. Italy's another country that has a plan to change their laws around cannabis too. So again, you know, they just go back to Bobby Smyth and the prohibitionists. Why are we seeing so much of this nonsense in the media at the moment? They are scared. They are scared, you know what I mean? And whether they're being brought in now by whatever powers that be that might be wanting to keep cannabis illegal, you know, so they're calling in their experts now, let's get on to Bobby and let's get on to Mary and whatever other kind of loon bag that they can get out there who's going to just like wholeheartedly support prohibition and ignore the pain and suffering it brings upon our communities and our young people, then, you know, that's why we're seeing that stuff anyway. Also, just to finish on Malta, there are cannabis clubs over there, the cannabis social clubs. Their memberships are going to be limited at 500 people, which is a lot more than what I had heard. I had heard 50 people, but 500 people, meaning that 500 people, 4 plants per person, so 2,000 plants effectively. A cannabis collective could be grown for its members. I think that's how it would work. If you've got a member, you got 4 plants entitled to that member, and the club would grow it for that person. The clubs then can provide 7 grams of cannabis a day to each person, but they can only get a maximum of 50 grams of cannabis in a month. The organisations, which cannot be situated less than 250 metres it can't be situated less than 250 metres from a school. Yeah, I think that's how it's said. A club or youth centre may also distribute up to 20 seeds of plant cannabis, 20 seeds of the plant cannabis to each member every month. Sorry, I got a bit tongue-tied there. Does that sound right? Which cannot be situated less than 250 metres from a school or more than 250. It can't be situated more than 250 metres from a school. That's what I would have thought, but anyway. But yeah, look, happy days. I'm curious as well about that distribution of cannabis seeds. Like, is it illegal to distribute cannabis seeds in Malta? I did not know that, if that was the case. Like, I just don't understand why they're including that part there as well in the bill, that a cannabis social club are able to distribute 20 cannabis seeds to each member every month. So that was a bit confusing to me. You're only allowed to grow 4 plants, but you can get 20 seeds. Yeah, so happy days there from Malta. There's more ammunition there for us as campaigners for the change of laws here, as we see these places make the changes. Just strengthens our argument to make the changes here in Ireland. Yeah, so let's drive on from there. I just noticed all my comments disappeared from my side. I hate when that happens. Hype sharing a link there in the comments as well to Thailand. Yes, the Thai cannabis government, or the Thai cannabis government, the Thai health ministry are pushing for full cannabis legalization. But the headline is clickbait. I clicked into it a while ago, and it's not what you would intend it to be. That they're only pushing for the inclusion of the flowers in the in the use of the part of the bill. So basically, what they're doing in Thailand at the moment is similar to Ireland. Apparently, they're only allowed to like use the leaves and stuff like that. They're not allowed to use the flowers apparently. But only until recently now they're pushing for the inclusion of flowers there in Thailand, but only up to 0.2% THC. So it's not what you think. I just thought it to be a clickbaity headline. So once I read into it, I was just kind of like, yeah, nothing's really changed there as such, because I knew this to be the case when I covered this in the past. It's kind of like, yeah, the Thai government were kind of pushing to change their laws around cannabis. They want to have wider access there, but only to the kind of the health side of it, you know, the 0.2%, the hemp varieties, you know, these CBD plants. So yeah. Be careful on the links you send, Hype. No, there's nothing wrong with the link, is there? Bangkok Post? Or did I hurt you? The Bangkok part. Hey. Sorry, bad joke. But we go from Thailand. Nice one for that, Hype. Yeah, I'll just throw that in there. We go from Thailand then, guys, to Hong Kong. We're in Hong Kong. 33 million Hong Kong dollars worth of cannabis was seized over there. And this was part of a clampdown on the festive drug use. So here pictured up on screen is the 33 million euro worth of cannabis that they've seized over there. So in total, I believe it was, I'm just getting to the headline, it was 108 kilos, 140 or 153 kilos of cannabis. 153 kilos of cannabis was disguised as instant oats. And this was shipped from Canada and arrived at the Customs and Excise Department, and they were able to intercept it using their highly skilled workforce. I have a picture of some of their training efforts over there. So here's the dude showing them an old picture, and you can see he's like, hey, this is the oats, this is a normal box of oats, this is the cannabis. You got it, guys? Good work. So that's their training exercise. They're highlighting what cannabis looks like under an X-ray compared to a box of oats. So to any potential exporters of cannabis who might be trying to disguise it as oats, the jig is up. They've got some highly skilled and highly trained officers over there now as a result of this recent operation. Also going on from this and a follow-up training exercise, they had 2 boxes there, you know, just to show guys, just in case they were anyway confused as to what a normal oats box looked like and what a box which contained cannabis looked like. So this again coming out of Hong Kong, 33 million Hong Kong dollars worth of cannabis seized. Not only cannabis was seized over there though, as part of this effort to clamp down on the festive season drug use, they've also seized like an amount of pills, but not an incredibly large amount either. Like, you know, that they're in terms of pills, they seized like only was it like 52,000 pills? Now, like you would think for somewhere like Hong Kong that they would have a lot more pills going over there, like in terms of ecstasy and stuff like that. But no, only 52,000 seized over there since the 1st of November, which I thought that was rather small. So it just kind of makes me wonder how much is actually getting through. Whoever is bringing the pills in, like, you know, he's got proper connections, like, and he's like, guys, I ain't giving you shit, like, you know what I mean? Here's 50,000 pills there, look, go in, let all of my seizures through, or I'm going to F your shit up, like, you know what I mean? Like, because, like, I'd imagine there's some dodgy stuff going on over there within Hong Kong and their government and their customs and stuff, you know, and there's probably some powerful gangs that have definitely got their they're insiders, within the different organizations able to move their product into the country, because it's quite a profitable place to be able to get drugs in and sell, like, because they fetch a high enough price. Going from the cannabis there, and I was interested in this. I was only talking about this the other day, actually, I believe, where I was on about the price of cannabis over in Hong Kong. So that was 33 million in Hong Kong dollars. That converts over to 3.75 million in euro. So 3.75 million in euro. And in total there was, I'm just going to look at this again, make sure I actually get the right figure for how much was actually seized. Because their cannabis, I think it worked out when I worked it out the other day, as I don't have the figure there, I think it worked out at like 27,000 a kilo. Yeah, 27,000 euro a kilo. It is that they're valuing this at. So I don't know, is that their street value? Is that their wholesale value? So is the street value a lot more? Not too sure there, but over 25,000 a kilo they're fetching there in Hong Kong, according to the authorities, per kilo of cannabis. Oops, get that one off. Boom. So any other notes of anything else of interest there in that article? No, not really. No, not at all. Yeah, I would imagine, this again is probably just some sort of a stage, show. Again, people just importing stuff all of the time and just throwing a dog a bone. Here's the old Christmas bonus there. Look, seize this there. But meanwhile, again, just massive shipping containers worth of stuff coming in. They say here between January and October of 2021, police and customs officers confiscated 28,000 ecstasy tablets, which was up 404% from 5,000 pills in the same period last year. Whereas cannabis seizures rose by 75% to 1.7 thousand kilos in the first 10 months of this year. So what's that, 1.7 tons? Yeah, 1.7 tons. From 962 kilos in the same period last year. So again, like, that's not a lot getting seized over there, so there must be an awful lot getting through. I'm just looking at the comments there. Podge says, I only said that because my phone was, say, a security risk in the link of a virus with detection. Nice one, Podge. Yep. Who's out in the... what's happening, Tucker? Tucker's out there as well. It's a CBD front government are trying, just so people will settle with a 0.2% THC, just legalise, tax and regulate this plant. Yep. You said it, Tucker, man. Legalise, tax it, and regulate it. Like, just leave us free to be able to grow our own then as well, if we don't want to be paying these prices that come with the taxes. If me or you were able to grow our own cannabis plants for ourselves, then we wouldn't really have much need to go down the road and be buying it if the government decide to fucking slap a 70 or 80% tax on it, like they do currently with things like alcohol and tobacco and fuel, shit that we fucking need to just survive in life. Because, if you don't have these things, fuel is essential for people, if you just need to get the fuck around the place. Like, but like tobacco, alcohol, like coffee, cannabis, these are tools that people like to engage with in life, just to de-stress, just to, to just get by, that they help pick them up. For whatever reason, they might use any of those aforementioned substances. It's no government's place to be able to kind of get in the way of people's choice to consume them. Zaggles, they could have at least labeled the strains in those bags. That's the thing, man. They don't give a shit what strain it is. It's just like, you want it or not. John Finnegan says, I want a pack of that porridge. Others in the audience as well. Probably Stardog Zaggles, says Chilbert. UK is best imported into Hong Kong. You have to wonder where that's coming from. Maybe Australia, New Zealand or something like that, would you think? Where would you think that's cannabis is coming from now? Nicely bagged and all that. Rashers, festive season drug use. Do they only do that at certain times of the year? Yeah, it's unfortunate, isn't it? Like, they impose this kind of operation to target festive season drug use. It's like people want to engage with festive season drug use. That means people who are probably not otherwise engaged in drug use other times in the year. And it's just this time of the year they're going to let their hair down a little bit, so they might get themselves an old bag of schnackda because it is Christmas time. I'm not into that, but maybe somebody else out there is, and I don't want to impose my opinions on them. If they're into it, that's their choice and that's their thing, and it should just be made safe for them. Bob Marley, until it's our kids, respect, bro. Nice one, Bob. Respect to you too, dude. Tucker as well, a bit pricey. Yeah, no, definitely, and it is definitely 25 grand a key. That's crazy shit, man. Tucker asking, do you think they've overpriced the seizure? Maybe. I'm not too sure. Like, our lot seem to do that here. They used to do that here, but it's definitely on par now. But in reality, like, you're never going to be paying 20 grand for a kilo. Like, they slap the street value at it, like, and they use the lowest possible street value too, like, per gram. When you buy a gram, a dude's going to get you like 20 quid probably easy, like, for a gram of weed, like. Whereas if you're buying like an ounce of it, you're not going to be paying 20 quid a gram if you're buying an ounce of it. Like, you're going to be, come here, dude, cut us fucking slack there now, boy, Especially if you're buying a key. Like, imagine being paying €20 a key, like, 20 grand for a kilo. Like, come off the stage now, boy. Not a hope. But yeah, I reckon they probably have overpriced it over there as well, like they do here in Ireland, using that lowest possible street value in order to kind of overinflate what it is that they're actually seizing. Shy Son says, we need a wrapped for all the seizures last year. Seasonal buds, says Ballista. Hype says, Kowloon Kush. Tucker as well. Yeah, man, I was thinking that as well. Nice one. Guys, final headline I have for you today then, and we finish up then after that, and yeah, we're just over the hour actually. Shit, I was trying to keep an eye on the clock there to catch the last 4:20. We go to the Emerald Cup, which happened over in Sonoma County in the US, where 15,000 cannabis consumers or fans turned out to celebrate all things cannabis at the Emerald Cup. Excuse me, just got some hiccups. The festival season now resembles, or the festival now resembles part of kind of part county fair and part food. Part county fair with food trucks, part music festival with members of the hip-hop group Wu-Tang Clan scheduled to perform, and an educational seminar with significant focus on public policy given tax and regulatory issues that cloud the industry. Yes, got it all out there before it disappeared. But yes, that was taking place over there in the Sonoma County at the weekend. I'll get up on screen. I have a couple of photos that I'll share with you today. So it's something that we've to all look forward to, hopefully in time to come, and we can go out there and celebrate our community and all it has to offer. But here we see in these photos, just people out there consuming cannabis. You see one lady there with that kind of lovely festive floral dress. I don't know, will these go bigger if I click it? No, it didn't go bigger. But that lady in the back there, she's got a lovely looking blunt there, I think, in her hand. Or is that maybe a vape pen? It's probably a vape pen, actually. It looked like a fat blunt with a glass tip, but yeah, it's probably a vape pen. Out just enjoying the festive season, out enjoying all that is on offer from our community, such as some of this really creative artwork that's up there. And these I think these are like fucking throw blankets, like kind of big canvasy kind of poster type things. But yeah, you see loads of people out there, just normal law-abiding people now over there where cannabis is legal, out there just doing their thing, meeting other like-minded cannabis consumers. Whereas here in Ireland, we're all fucking scared shitless, And a shout out to Mackie, prime example of what our community looks like over here because of the fear, the stigma that's imposed upon us. Mackie, when we were talking the other night, had to wear his gimp mask, he had to hide his face, like. But here, none of these people, except that one guy who's covering it, but not for hiding his face reasons because of the pandemic shit that's going on. But everybody else, you don't have any fear of being associated with it. Cannabis. I think I see some cops there in the background. Like, I'm sure if many years ago when cannabis was legal over there in this area, the sight of those cops would have sent many of these fucking participants running, you know, from the hills. It might have kept a couple of them from even ever participating in cannabis, because no, that's illegal. That's not for me. Because sometimes that actually does work for some people, but not everybody. Do you know, another lovely lady out there, another member of our community, another person free from the discrimination, not having to hide who she is, free to wear her lovely cannabis glasses here, giving her some lovely cannavision. Again, more members of our community, just the old peace signs up there again, you know, because we spread love, man. We're not about hate or anything like that. We want to just be appreciated and, you know, just be left the feck alone. Like, we want peace. And pieces as well. Look at these pieces that were on display over there. Again, just displaying some of the amazing artwork that's available from the community. I'd say some of these pieces that are in this glass cabinet, these are like dabbing rigs and bongs. Probably just all dabbing rigs, given the culture of dabbing over in America at the moment. But a lot of these are probably handcrafted by local glass blowers. And there's a real fucking thriving glass blowing community over there in this region, where their glass pieces, you know, are incredible. I'll see if I can get up some there later on if I think of it there once I get through the news. But yeah, lovely cannabis pants and socks. I have to get a pants like that actually myself for my next court visit. Anybody know where I'll get a cannabis leafed printed suit? Preferably hemp. Anybody want to sponsor me one? Shout out Danny Taylor's out there. But again, another person just freely enjoying cannabis, man. You know, it's so much to be looked forward to once we end this discrimination, because being able to attend something like this and just meet the many wondrous people that I've met through the show, like being able to do the show has given me access to some really cool people who I probably would have never have met if I didn't do this. Like, and I can only imagine the even more wondrous people we'll get to meet once, you know, we can remove this criminalisation that exists, that's keeping us all divided so effectively, you know. We really just need to unite and rise up, because this is what we're fighting for, you know. This is what we looking forward to, where Santa Claus is taking some fat dabs. Yes, festive even and all, like, so of course some festival attendees over there at the Emerald Cup are going to dress up for it, you know. Some cannabis on display, some other just proud cannabis consumers displaying their love for cannabis. So, and that's the final photo there. There was different strains of cannabis plants for sale during the Emerald Cup Harvest Ball. And that was Saturday, December 11th at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds in Santa Rosa. And the photographer there was Kent Porter, the Press Democrat 2021. So there you go, guys. That's some photos from the Emerald Cup in Sonoma. Oh, and it wasn't just the all cannabis they were celebrating. You know, it wasn't just a big celebration. Also, you know, again, as mentioned there earlier in the subheading, as part of this festival, there was a big effort there to raise awareness as to the shortfalls of legalization. There's a good video over on YouTube. I'm going to just pop you over there and I'm going to grab a quick drink. But in this video, you're going to hear from, I believe his name is Ted Baker, I think. Well, Tim Blake. Where's Ted Baker coming from? Is that like a clothes brand or something? Tim Blake. He's the founder of the Emerald Cup over there in Sonoma, and where it's been held now for the last 7 years, except for last year that had to be cancelled because of the pandemic over there. But Tim Blake is going to talk a little bit here as to, you know, the shortcomings of legalization. Well, it's, you know, it's very welcome. It's great, you know, that we're not being criminalized for this, you know. But he's kind of bringing up the suffering, the plight that's falling on the small farmers there, the legacy growers that would have been at they're at the foundation of this industry. You know, they're being left down now by the government, especially the federal government there too. So I'll just press play on this video. I'll let you with Tim Blake. I'm going to quickly go grab a drink.
Well, we're going to have a rally for the small farms and the small farmers across the state.
Bit of a buzz from the microphone,
we're very,
so sorry.
very proud to have the group that's going to come out on stage with us here. First, I'll say a couple words. After almost 50 years in the business, I really, really look forward to legalization. I evangelized for it. I evangelized for 64 because Gavin Newsom said that there'd never be anything above 1 acre. I've taken a lot of flack from a lot of people fairly because of what's happened. But when I evangelized for Prop 64, it's because we were promised there would never be anything over 1 acre for 5 years, so that small farmers and product makers would have a chance to segue away. And then what happened was 2 months into 64, that was changed. 2 months into 64, that was changed. Oh, we got people coming out here first. Oh, they're all coming. Well, we'll introduce them in just a second. 2 months into 64, that was changed. Large-scale farming happened. We all know the story. From that day, we were doomed as false farmers. Well, we spent years fighting for regulations and getting our houses in order and our land and fish and water and wildlife and everybody else. Those big farms just overproduced us to death, which has happened to come this year to a point where look what's happening in the market. So as much as I'm happy we went legal and that nobody's going to jail for long term, and we've got mainstream people being able to accept cannabis, and the rest of the country and the world is taking interaction with cannabis because of what we did. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening to us, and I'm ashamed of our politicians and our government and what they've done to all of us and what we're going through right now. And we have some wonderful activists up here today that need to compromise with politicians and need to work with them, and we can't let them really take the brunt of it. But I'm an old outlaw, so I can just say they should just be ashamed of themselves for what they did, and every one of them should just, be taken out of office and go straight to hell, as far as I'm concerned. So, but on a good note, we have some wonderful people with trade associations here that have done a lot of work. We have Janine Coleman with the Origins Council, who's really led the way in so many ways. We have Michael Katz from the Mendocino Cannabis Alliance, who's he led the small farmers program with this initiative. We ended up with almost 50 small farmers getting free booths, and it's just been a beautiful program that we're so proud of. We have John Casale from Huckleberry Farms, who's just a beautiful guy. He's been with us, a legacy guy. Amber Center and Supernova, longtime activist with us. And, Salami over there, we got people everywhere, we just got the whole community. And so we're going to let Janine come out and do a rally for all of us. And I'm just so thankful you're all here. And I'm so proud to be standing with you at this moment in time, all still standing together going forward.
I love some of the signs up on the stage. We are stronger together. That's the thing we all really need to remember. We are stronger together. We can't let these governments and these policymakers push us around like they are, or we're going to end up in a situation like they are over in the US, where you're ever so thankful for the idea of legalization, but they push you around as a result of that. They take advantage of you as a result of that. You heard him there saying, how as part of Proposition 64, there was kind of a protection measure in there for the small farmer. But not long after, they kind of removed that. They changed it a bit, again, just taking the rug out from the under the feet of the small farmers over there and just screwing with them, that they're really paving the way there for big industry in the US at the moment, where the small farmers are just not able to kind of keep up with the ever decreasing price of cannabis on the wholesale market. I was only talking with Martin O'Brien again, shout out to the Foxworthy Farms and to the Patients for Safe Access. Patients for Safe Access. Basically he was telling me how the price of cannabis on the wholesale market, when he kind of started out, he was getting like 2,500-3,000 per pound. Whereas like last year then it was like, closer to like 1,500 a pound, 1,200. And he's like, this year, he's like, maybe $700 a pound, $700 a pound, so he's having to change his kind of approach there. He's having to try to diversify not diversify, just to change his approach and how he's selling his product, not in the wholesale, sell it more in the retail. He's doing something there where, and I'll put her up on screen. It's worth getting her up there actually now. Foxworthyfarms.com. I'll pull his website up on screen. As an approach to try to deal with this fucking changing landscape of the cannabis business, he's kind of introducing the Fox 7 where he's focusing now much more on the terpene profile of the cannabis rather than on the THC and the CBD alone. While that information will be still available to the consumers, it's just more all around the terpene profile and all of that other stuff as well. There it is, nice. So this is a nice little kind of profile of these different strains. So there's the strain name on that center kind of part. So just look at the Savvy Sativa Sour Durban. The active terpenes, terpinolene dominant rich in ocimene and myrcene. Flavor, spicy, yes. Energy, transcendence. Medicinal use, anti-proliferate, antioxidant, analgesic, antiemetic. So there you go, like, you know, and you can see how the medical uses change as the strains change as well. Again, you know, reflecting the varying nature of the cannabis chemo profile, you know, which kind of will elicit a different effect, you know, depending on the strain, depending on the chemo profile of the plant. You know, you go down here and you look at this, what's this one? Peanut butter bread. A balance of limonene, beta-carotene, and pinene. Flavor, floral. Energy, compassion, and a love. Yes, I could do with some of that right now. Medicinal uses, and yes, antidepressant, analgesic, and anxiolytic, and anti-inflammatory. I could certainly go with a hit of that stuff right now. Luckily, I do have some 8472, which, you know, it's glorious, it smells beautiful, but man, what I would give to be able to kind of have a profile like this for my 8472, to be able to look and say, right, the 8472, it's myrcene dominant, and it's kind of got some pinene and beta-carotene in there, and it's going to give you these effects, you know. That'd be fucking amazing, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, like, you know? Also another promotion of Foxworthy's at the moment, and it's in partnership with some local music artists over there, is when you buy a packet of one of these cannabis products, it comes with a QR code, and when you scan the QR code, it'll bring you to a music track which you can then download. It's like a 25-minute mix by like local DJs. I think they've got like kind of varying themed music there. I got a sneak preview of some of it there, and it was quite good. I don't have access to it right now at this moment, otherwise I would have gave you all an old sneak peek as well. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff that the industry is doing over there in order to kind of bring more attention to their products. So what Foxworthy is doing in this case, they're trying to set their products apart now by focusing on the terpenes, and I applaud that, man. That is amazing. Fun facts from Zaggles. Myrcene is one of the most common terpenes in cannabis. Is it? I would have always thought it was carotene. The beta-carotene. Apparently, beta-carotene is the terpene which they use drug dogs. They train drug dogs with beta-carotene. They could maybe use other terpenes there as well, maybe a mix of terpenes, but again, as far as memory serves, when I was kind of doing my research into it, they were training drug dogs using beta-carotene as that was being quoted as being one of the most common terpenes in cannabis, but it's probably up there with myrcene. Here's another fun fact about myrcene, and I believe it's myrcene. Again, I'm just going off the top of my head from a couple of years ago, Herbal Science days. Myrcene improves the permeability of some of the compounds across the blood-brain barrier, so it enhances the effect of the cannabis as a result of that, because it allows for, you know, a movement of compounds across the blood-brain barrier and enhancing the effects then. So there's another little fun fact about myrcene. Nice one, guys. Whoop whoop, just subscribed. Nice one for the subscription there. Whoop whoop whop whop whoop. And yes, any other shout outs? No other shout outs there at the moment. Anyway, nice one. John Finnegan liked the stream though a few minutes ago, did he? Good stuff, John. In the audience, Gabberhead, what's up, Martin? Hope all is well with the family and the little fella. Yes, all is good with the little fella, buddy. Nice one for asking. He's doing really well. Getting big now fast. Arms going dead and all from holding him there. You know, when you're doing the old bottle feeds and stuff, you're just like, geez, Noticing the weight now. Scatness, somehow child sitting with the mask on does not seem appropriate no matter what type of mask it is. Rashers, hashtag we are stronger together, hashtag fuck out. And Barry Fields hitting us up with a link there for the Patients for Safe Access Twitter page in the comments in YouTube. So nice one for that there, Barry. Bob Marley saying surely the government seed. Just looking through the comments again. Oh yeah, here's Bob Marley. Surely the government sees that, and if it would help with big pharmaceuticals, just grow your own, bro. Yeah, guys, what Bob Marley said. Listen to Bob Marley. Grow your own. It's just herb. The herb is a plant, man. Alcohol is the distraction. Yes, not my Bob Marley's accent's gone. Let's blaze one up, guys. Second up. It's sweaty under these headphones and a hat. I see CG is agreeing with Mr. Marley. Grow your own, guys. He won't be sorry. Unless you get caught. But if you ever get caught, guys, just let me know and I'll support you in whatever way I can. Pods4420, yeah, following them on Insta since you said it, was an Irishman that runs it. Their outdoor grows look brilliant, and that Cali sunshine, yes. Yeah, Martin is eager to come back home to Cork. He's definitely up for a trip back here next year, as we're going to be organising a conference for the Patients for Safe Access. So hopefully we'll have Martin over here in Cork, and yeah, he's definitely got his sights in Ireland as well. Should we allow for the setting up of cannabis production here? You know, he's definitely he's got roots there in Cork, you know, so as, he wants to put more roots down in terms of cannabis. So yes, I'd love to have Foxworthy, get an old Foxworthy franchise there. Yeah, from one Martin to another Martin. Martin O'Brien runs Foxworthy, and Martin here could run Foxworthy in Cork. Who knows? But yeah, check him out on Insta. He gets some funny videos up there. He likes to have a bit of fun with his stuff. Gets creative with his marketing. There you go. Chilbert UK says beta carotene doesn't degrade, so hangs around after other terps have gone. So there you go. That's probably why they get the drug dogs so to sniff after the beta carotene, because of its staying power. So while cannabis might actually be more, myrcene might be the more common terpene in cannabis, it has more of a tendency to kind of just poof off into the environment, whereas beta carotene tends to stick around, and the dogs kind of can sniff it out then. John Finnegan, great Italian accent there, Martin. Nice one. Yes, Hunter K got work in one ear and Martin in the other. Wish I could go roll one up and have a smoke with you lads. Gotta wait another hour. You see, you know what I mean? Like, there you go, Hunter K just highlighting also another myth that's spouted by some of the prohibitionists, that if cannabis is legal, you know, people are going to be showing up to work stoned, and they're going to be like just smoking on the job, and it's going to be terrible. The whole world is going to fall apart, like, you know. But no, responsible cannabis consumers know not to get blazed while at work, because it might it might impact on your productivity. Depending on what work you do, like, do you know what I mean? If you're literally just a button pusher, like, having a talk there at lunchtime certainly going to keep you from jumping out the fucking window, like. But if you're somebody who's got to be on the ball, like, you know, probably having a smoke at lunchtime isn't what you want to do, unless you're medicating, which is a different story altogether. But again, you know, yes, cannabis consumers can be responsible. Hunter K, prime example. Good on you, Hunter. Hopefully the new job is going good as well. GB popping into the audience. What's happening, GB? Welcome. howdy doody, boys and girls, and hopefully you like your new spanner there next to your name, GB. I think you were one of the new people who got one there as well, GB. So a few people got some spanners there. As I was in the given mood the other day. Air's playing up there now since having a headphone on so long. BIF, percent of Maltese men are diabetic. It's genetic, so cannabis must be doing them some good. Yeah, I would imagine so, actually, because there is definitely studies out there that show cannabis, at least certain strains of cannabis. Again, shout out to Martin O'Brien and his Foxworthy terpene profile barrier there, which shows that. But yeah, cannabis can definitely help with maybe someone's insulin sensitivity. So cannabis for diabetes. Tucker says should be able to have a little vape of THC at lunch. Yeah, exactly. Like as a cannabis consumer, you should be able to be responsible about your cannabis consumption. And quite often or not, you can take like microdoses, like so a small little toot. Like you're not going to be fucking so out of it. Like you're not going to even be out of it at all. It's just going to get you present. CG says clove oil has a lot of beta carotene in it. Interesting. Yeah, I would come across that right somewhere in the past when I was looking at different studies and stuff like that about terpenes, clove oil coming up. Yeah, definitely a good source of some really cool terpenes and other really cool compounds as well. Clove oil is fucking the shit, like, do you know what I mean? In terms of like its painkilling ability, man, you got a toothache and you got some cloves. You don't even need the oil, man. You just get some cloves and that shit works, like. Bit of whiskey as well goes wonders with those cloves. Tucker says, but it is illegal. Yeah, it is. That's the problem there with cannabis, alright. Hunter K says, thanks man, new job is going well. Shame the computer systems are shite. No chance I'd have a smoke before doing this kind of stuff. I'd lose where I am so often. You see, exactly. You know what I mean? Just highlighting again, responsible cannabis consumer knows when to consume cannabis and knows when not to consume cannabis. We're not some sort of fucking crazed lunatics. When we have cannabis, we need to consume it, you know. Which is kind of what Bobby Smyth might make people try to believe, like. Pods 4420 welcoming all the new spanners. I see DB Woodcraft out there as well, belting out the spanners. Papa Gummy Bear, Dia Boobies. What's Dia Boobies? Oh, Dia Doobies. Dia Doobies. Man Falls, shout out to all the spanners over there on YouTube. Yeah, Man Falls has got an old diamond there as well next to his name over on Twitch. I think that has something of significance to it as well. I think I appointed you a moderator over there as well, Man Falls. So like just the equivalent of a spanner. YouTube calls you spanners. Twitch calls you diamonds. You're all diamonds to me, guys, no matter what's next to your name. Zaggles, another weird thing I heard about terpenes. If a person has a similar reaction if a person has a reaction to lavender, they can have a similar reaction when smoking cannabis with a linalool. Yeah, that's because that's probably the most prominent terpene inside in lavender. But lavender is another really cool essential oil to use. Like lavender is really good to help you get a good night's sleep and stuff like that. You know, a couple of mists of lavender just over your pillow before you go to sleep. You know, even a little rub of it there on the wrist. You could put a little piece on the temple as well. And yeah, really good for a good night's sleep. Shine bright like a diamond. But Hype says, seen a company extracting THCV from oranges, $90 a G. They say they have picked the price out of their hole because nobody else is doing it. And yeah, I suppose they kind of have a right to do that as well. It's like it's their technology. They have a monopoly on it at the moment. And yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd imagine they're probably genetically modified oranges. Having THC in any form, like even THCV, that would be big news to me anyway. I would imagine that's probably some form of genetically modified orange, and then they're just juicing the orange. Don't squeeze the juice. Do the dogs like the cloves? I don't know. That's something I've never really looked up. I can't really tell you that now. Possibly, you know. I don't think they would. I imagine it would be quite like, if I can kind of an astringent there to them, like in the mouth, like it'd be quite unpalatable. Dogs like to get ripped too. Man, dogs definitely don't really like to get too ripped because it just messes them up. Like, and I've seen that happen too many a time. Like, my buddy has a small little, tiny little dog, like literally like, you know, Pam-sized dog, and we were down there one night watching the UFC, and we had some cupcakes, like queen cakes, one of those little fairy cakes, and one of the wrappers, that's all it was a wrapper, had fallen off of the table. And that's all it was a wrapper fell off of the table, and the dog was like licking the wrapper and kind of ate a piece of the wrapper. He didn't even eat all of it. Didn't even eat all of it now, just like a nibble off of the stuff, man. And about like 45 minutes later, an hour later, you look at the dog, and the dog was just like, the head was just bobbling. It was like a little bobble head dog. And the dog was just like, you know, very kind of unresponsive to things. It was just so funny because it was just like such a small little fluff ball of a dog. And he was like, oh shit, she's going to kill me. The dog is stoned again. Oh, it was funny, but like, you know, it can be quite distressing apparently for dogs. So it's definitely not an advisable thing to do. As I said, that evening, the wrapper had literally just fallen off the table. I think we had like 36 of the bloody things, like, so there was a lot of wrappers there. So one of them was bound to bloody fall. Poor doggy, though. Oh, High and Homegrown has a spanner, but don't give me one. I don't want any more responsibility than I already have. Sorry, Mackie. I was just going through the stream the other night, actually, and it's no wonder you weren't there, Mackie, because you were actually a part of the stream where I went through to find people to give them spanners. So that was the Saturday night multicast. So you weren't in my comments, so that's why High and Homegrown didn't get a spanner. So apologies, no offense. I just went through the comments there from the other night. I seen a few familiar names, gave them the spanners, and I was like, right, that should be enough for now. We'll go through ones later, guys. Yeah, go through ones later. in less than 100 characters, tell me why you should get a spanner. I'll pack another bowl while you get your reasons in. We get one more bowl in, and we get a couple of more comments, and we start calling it a night. Oh, excuse me. Oh, we have to grind a little bit more nugs. Oh, activities. That's coming in there from Callum Cully. Oh, guys, actually, as I still have quite a few of you out there. There's another segment of the Cannabis festival that happened there over the weekend in Sonoma. And I think this is very worthwhile bringing up to you because I love this part of the festival. So I was kind of looking for content there from the festival, and I came across this guy. This guy's by the name of Betty James. And this was the video I came across. So it was like, wow, Emerald Cup, love it. So I thought this guy is like, it's only a short video. It's like a minute and a half or something like that. So I thought this guy was going to be giving a breakdown of what was going on at the festival. And I was kind of like just taken aback by what it was. And it was just like, so like, you probably take it, this guy is deaf. He's using sign language here now. So I was like, oh yeah, I never actually met anybody in the cannabis community as such, you know, like I've never met any like representatives like of the deaf community who would be part of the cannabis community that I know of. Like that's not to say that there isn't people out there in the deaf community who use cannabis. It's just that we've never accommodated for them in anything that we do. So it just made me, just reflect on that. It's just like how many people out there that could be getting this message to them, and they're not able to receive it because I'm not accommodating for it. Like, and it's just kind of like, it just made me think, it really did. But on further looking into this guy, and no offense to anybody out there who knows sign language, and I'm cutting them off now, and you're like, yeah, how ignorant of you. The one time you have somebody with sign language on, you kind of cut them off midway through. And I just closed these messages there. But yes, this is more from Betty James's Facebook page. These are all public posts as well, so I'm sure he has no problem with me sharing them. More photos from the festival. 24 karat gold buds. So these are real buds, real flower, dipped in 24 karat gold. Really cool. So these are some of the photos that he had taken. So they had actually accommodated for the deaf community over there at this festival. And they had people on stage engaging in sign language, which was really cool. But not only that, at this video, and I really tried to get a better video of this, but I wasn't able to. But have a look at this. Like, so this is some of his buddies, the deaf community and stuff. So he's flicking around the camera there for a bit.
What are 3 words that you would use to define cannabis? Truth.
So there's something going on stage there.
Light. Love.
What's actually going on stage there, and you can't really see it. I'm going to turn on the music there. I get that down there. But yeah, what's going on in the stage there, and there, look, there you see it just there for that little snippet. So you had first, just go back a little bit. You had one person there, and they were doing sign language for freedom. So that was sign language for freedom that person was shown, and then Tommy Chong came on. And Tommy Chong done sign language for gods. At least that's kind of what's coming up on screen there for Tommy Chong. It's only like a second long, gods. You see it there? So he's kind of doing the sign language for gods. So there was a bit of education there for people in more ways about, like, not just the public policy around cannabis, but also just the fact that there's people out there in our community who are not able to hear, and that they should be included in some of these messages too. And it's just so if there's anybody out there, and if somebody wants to do sign language for 420 News, give us a shout. But no, I just thought that was really cool that was a part of the festival over there, and I just thought it was really worth highlighting. So a nice one to Betty James. I should really send him a message or something like that, but I've no way of communicating with him. I do have a cousin who knows sign language, so but yeah, it'd be interesting to know, what's it like, what's the story with his cannabis use? Is it has he got other health issues there as well as being deaf? Is he using it for those reasons? How many people out there who are deaf in Ireland and who have other health conditions where cannabis could be beneficial, and they're never able to kind of get the support from the community that they need? I don't know. It just got me thinking anyway, there's people out there in the community who are not able to communicate. Also, as part of the festival, there was some cool music showcasing some local acts as well. And here is, again, this is coming from Respect My Region. And this is featuring Corrupt and Friends. And this is a part of the after party. Not the one high and homegrown. No, this is the after party for the Emerald Cups Harvest Ball 2021.
This one's for you. This one's for you. Say what? This one's for you. And you will love what I do. This one's for you. This one's for you. For you. This one's for you. You. And you will love what I do. Listen, yo. I see the game full of thirst. Hip hop running through my veins by the thirst. Never with the shadow, the one who battled the curse. One fell victim and overcame the worst. I aim to overthrow the villain with the purse. My life's in the dirt. Feet on the turf. Waiting on the earth since my first day of birth. Souls in the ring, baby blue like a smurf. Swimming through the city, wave learn how to surf. Can't be an opponent, I do it for what it's worth. Life on the hustle. Add it up, stack it up, build through the rubble. Ride on the double. Stay away from trouble. Escape from the tussle. Deep like the muscle. No matter where I'm at, Sonny came to bubble. Made as a puzzle. I made it without the muscle. Give it to you real and raw because I love you. You. And this one's for you. This one's for you. This one's for you. Yo, hey yo, we love what we do. Yeah, this one's for you. For you. This one's for you. Yeah, this one's for you. Yo, hey yo, we love what we do. Yeah, I said we love what we do. Yo, I love what I do. This is hip hop. Ha ha, that's my habit. Yeah, hip hop, that's my habit. Yeah, hip hop, that's my habit. Yeah, hip hop, that's my habit. Yeah.
So there you go. There's a little taste of some of the after party there from Sonoma County, and that's actually where Foxworthy is. Funny enough, you know what I mean? As we kind of brought all of that together there. But yeah, Purple Godbud, that comes all the way from Canada. Ooh, at least the seeds did. Cork growers, boy, they're the shiz. Can't wait until we've like just undone the. Oh yes, is it? No, it's not 420. Guys, you like false alarm to me there, like fucking High and Homegrown spamming the chat with 420. I thought it was 420 High and Homegrown. What are you doing, boy? But yeah, before I was so rudely interrupted there. I look forward to the day when like cannabis is just like legalized globally, and we've got like international growers competitions. You know, that'll be class. You know, you got the local growers here in Cork. You know, you're getting like the soils of West Cork versus like, you know, the soils of as Cassidus Drugas was talking about, like the sulfur-rich soils of the Azores Islands, where there's like loads of volcanoes and shit. The cannabis from there versus Irish soil ones, you know, versus like Canadian soil versus like fucking Mexican soil, and oh, it's gonna be some crack, like, you know, and it's all to come. It's coming, like, you know, Mexico is sorting out their shit over there. Hopefully soon, America will sort out the federal stuff as well. And you know, the house of cards is tumbling in Europe. You know, we've seen it there throughout the news. 2022 is going to be a hell of a year for cannabis across Europe. So in recognition of that, let's blaze one up, a little civil disobedience here, because this shit is not illegal. This is my human right to engage in this. This first and foremost is a protest for my rights. And secondly, this is my right to be able to choose to consume this, because it's doing no harm to anybody else anyway. So blaze it on up, guys, if you got them out there. Civil disobedience at its best. Oh, Temple Grower, dude, that's some tasty stuff. Really is, like, Purple God, but wish my buddy could grow enough of this for everybody in the audience, you know. Doing old fucking gay burn on it, you know. There's a gram for everybody in the audience. What's that right now? That would be only, yeah, that's definitely doable. Like, it's only, what's that, 52 grams. Yeah, it's definitely doable, alright, like, 52 grams, one for everybody in the audience. Someday, guys, someday we'll do an outlaw on it. We'll give you all a gram each. Whoa, so many comments coming in there. 100k says so many spanners. Do you know down here? I don't know. Is that really a phrase anywhere else, like? But he's some spanner, that fella. But do you know? That's what you say about a fella who's a proper sausage, like, you know. He's some spanner, him. A proper spanner he is. No, anywhere else? Is that just? Daily Hawker, I'll have a spanner coming your way after the stream as well. Says, did you all get the spanners last stream? Yeah, in the last stream I went back through the chat and I found a few people to give spanners to. I believe you were commenting there on Saturday, and I might have missed your name in the chat there. So I'll find you after this one. Others in the audience, Barry Fields, Cliff, so he's at it again. Go on, boys. Shy son, Cork roars all the way. Go on, Shy son. Green Bear says DV wielding the hammer of might. Wielding the hammer of might. B9F says, why do they call you Spanner? Because every time I look at you, you make my nuts go tight. Yes, love it. Scatanist hitting that 420 as well. You see, this is acceptable spam, sort of. When I seen it being repeated in a line, it was just like, is it? It's like an alarm going off. I know the boys at High and Homegrown actually have an alarm. I should really set one of those things up, but yeah, should, like, you know what I mean? It's typical stoner man procrastinating. Not to be stereotyping, like, you know. What's happening? It's me, Benny. Yo, Martin, tuning in from the Netherlands. Man Falls sent me. Welcome to the stream. It's me, Benny. Nice one, Man Falls, for bringing it's me, Benny here. It's me, Benny. Well, welcome. I stream 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do 420 news, mostly Irish news, covering a lot of what goes on there from the cops, all the raids and stuff like that. But I do bring a lot of the international news as well. That's worth covering. I try to find the positive stuff a lot of the times from the international one. I try to stay away from the cops and the raids in the international field then, unless they're of worth covering. But that's the 420 news. Then we stick around for a little bit afterwards where I kind of shoot the breeze. You know, we're doing that now for almost 30, 40 minutes now, where we're just kind of chatting, going back over a few things, and yeah, good community. Do some interviews then outside of that then as well, which get featured over on YouTube and go up on Spotify and all of that stuff as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. It's me, Benny. And hopefully I'm not speaking too fast. I've been told that I speak too fast sometimes. Sometimes when I get a bit excited here and the chat having the crack with yourselves, I've been told, Martin, you speed up the old talking there a bit, and it's a bit hard for me to follow you. 1 or 2 American viewers. John Finnegan says, Cork growing cannabis with Tipperary terpenes. Will we ever see the day? Unless you water your plants with Tipperary water, maybe. See what I did there? Billy Bonds, partaking in civil disobedience. Yes, nice one, Billy. Tip my glass there to you if it's glass you're partaking in. Chink, slinta. Ryan Agas, Martin, it's 1608. I thought it was 420. Where are you, Ryan, that it's 1608? It is now 1811 where I am right now. DB Wowcraft says, what about the harm it's doing to the fly behind you on the wall? You'll turn the fur into a walk. The fly into a walk. Yes. Barry Fields, I think of Bertie Ahern every time I hear Spanner. Bertie was a Teflon spanner. Oh, lads, I was watching some of the old gift grub stuff there. They were fucking comedic gold, man. Your man Mario Rosenstock there, like when he was covered in some of the shit that was going on before in Ireland with Bertie Ahern and Paddy the Plasterer, 'cause nobody does it faster than Paddy the Plasterer. It's fucking quality stuff. Like, it's like we need somebody like that out there covering just what's going on right now, like from a comedic sense, like, because that shit used to have me in stitches, but it used to bring a lot of attention as well around the subject, and it used to open up an opportunity to kind of chat about it too, like. But man, so many fucking golden bits like from that gift grub. Shout out to GV, says don't forget to smash that like button, guys, and gives a bit of support there for the show as well. Nice one, GB. Always appreciated, brother. Really do appreciate the support that comes in from everyone, guys. So much appreciated, guys. And like GB said, hit that like button, guys, if you haven't already done so. And if you're over on any of those other channels, guys, hit that subscribe button. Rashers as well. Me dad still won't hear a word against Bertie Ahern. It's madness. Can sit there and point out all the shit but goes over his head. Man, I've wanted to claim the fame to make him out my dad, and it's always made me proud. It's he he was above there in Dublin, and I think it was in Temple Bar. He was in with some of the friends of the family and stuff like that. And I think it was Bertie Ahern came into the bar, and he was like doing around at the bar, like, you know, shaking everyone's hand, like, you know. I was like, oh, Bertie Ahern, and he came right to my dad's table, and he went to shake my dad's hand, and he's just like, I'm not shaking your fucking hand. I was just like, yes. Yes, I don't know if he said it like that, like, but, you know, it's like he might as well said, you know, I might not put shaking your hand, like, so. There's definitely a bit of a rebel there. My dad maybe is proud of me of what I do. Who knows? He's never said it to me yet, anyway. But yeah, I was definitely proud of when I heard that one, anyway. JW Hillpower, what's happening, JW? Yo, Martin, how are you doing, bud? Hope everyone is keeping well. Roll on 2022. We have plenty to do, and by 2023, we'll be blazing legally. I changed that there at the end. You said legal weed, but I think 23 legally. I think there was a bit more of a rhyme there. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, man. You don't even like repeat it with your one, weed. 2023 legal weed. Yeah, I suppose there is a bit of a rhyme there as well. But what's happening, JW, man? Yes, love it, man. Yeah, 2023 rolling on by. We had a great crack there as well at the old Christmas party, didn't we not? A couple of campaigners there for Cannabis Activist Alliance. We met up there in Cork City. We got an Airbnb for the night, courtesy of a great supporter of the campaign. So get in there and support them, guys. That's the Funky Skunk down there in Cork, down on the Quay. Also, there's another store above in Dublin too, who's definitely you get out there and support if you're above in Dublin. But yeah, Funky Skunk were kind enough there to support us and sponsor us with an Airbnb for the night, which was really cool, and we had a really cool party. Not a drop of drink was had, except, you know, the old refreshments of water and Coke and 7-Up and Fanta and stuff like that. Definitely a langer load of munchies. Some of my special homemade brownies were consumed as well. Great night. But yeah, it was a good one. We'll definitely do it again next year, JW. And Barry Field was there as well. Yeah, it was. Barry Field says it's a pure Cork thing, like Keno getting wound up in Sky Sports. Yes, you gotta love the Cork women to go on a rant. Yes, that's why go Mario. The traveling time travel. B9F says the Savage Eye babysitter sketch. Yeah, that's freaking comic gold as well. The Savage Eye had some funny ones. Who else is there? Man Falls 23 legal tree. Hello. 23 legal tree. Yes, Man Falls hitting the fucking rhyme on the head. Shall we go back and try it again, will we? Hope everyone is keeping well. Roll on 2022. We have plenty to do, and by 2023 we'll be blazing legal tree. Yeah. It works, Man Falls. It works. Yes. Ryan correcting himself there as well. It was 1808 when he sent it, not 1608. Right, we're gonna pack up another bowl. We got like just over 2 minutes there, guys, until the next 4:20. Pop it up and scream, will we, for the crack? It's a really cool website as well, the 420clock.com. 420worldclock.com. 3 minutes to 4:20. It'll be 4:20 in Noranha, South Georgia, South Sandwich Islands. So there you go, guys. This is where we're getting blazed with today. It's always 4:20 somewhere. And if you go to 420worldclock.com, you'll be able to find out who you're blazing with at 4:20. It's a cool website as well. They've got like these things down at the end. I'm sure I've gone over this before, but like weird little kind of links. 420 games, Puff Puff Pass. What do you meme? Like, what's Puff Puff Pass? Oh, it's actually a game on Amazon. Oh, they probably get a kickback off this, man. The Stoner's card game. After interviewing other stoners, made by stoners for stoners. Laugh all night. This game has hilariously high conversation starters, funny videos, insane would you rathers, fun facts, and more. That's not no paid promotion either. It's just coming at you from 420 World News Clock or whatever it is. 43 seconds, guys. 43 seconds. I'm ready. Are you ready? 30 seconds. I've smoked in more places than I've been by doing this. Travel the world, Elle said. Smoking weed will keep you from doing that. Well, no. I'm getting to see the world here, man. Every time I kind of do this, I go Google some of these places, have a look around them. It's like, yeah, that's another place visited thanks to cannabis. Fuck you, Judge. Not holding me back. Can't trap a man in his mind. I'm free. Blaze to that. Free as a tree. Whoop, whoop. Blazing on up, guys. 420. Bob Marley says, pass the Dutchie to the left. He's commenting that yeah, bottle of ice on. Would you be surprised actually if I said I just recently received 6 liters of ISO? I've recently reclaimed some ISO, and that will certainly be put to good use to give this an old cleaning as a process. Yeah, it definitely needs it. There's definitely a bit of an old tar up there. And that's from doing this. I constantly put the bowl in the top if I want to put a bit of keef up the top of the bowl or anything like that. That's why there's a little hook on the back of it. Like, did you ever notice that, guys? Like, why there's a little hook in the back of it? And you just like stick your bowl up there so that you can pack it because it's up straight, and then you put it in. And when you put it in, it's normally at a slant, like, you know, so you don't pack it when it's at a slant. You pack it when it's flat, like, you know, it's like pretty flat there. It's at a tiny angle, but when it's actually in there, it's actually at like a 45-degree angle, a dirty 45-degree angle, you know. It's well used, but the water's clean, guys, you know what I mean? It's only seen like 7 or 8 hits today. It was fresh this morning when I put it in. Who else is out in the audience? Tucker says you need to be creating one and plug yourself. Creating which? Let's Blaze. Martin, you have an extra special, bro, for all of us with tunes, bro. I don't. You want me to sing songs? Does it release a Christmas special? What's the crack, Tucker? Tucker, we do a Christmas special. We sing some Christmas cannabis carols there, will we? You can do the instruments and some vocals, and I'll do some backup vocals there. You tell me what to do, dude. And yeah, we've definitely got some songs there. Like, what is it? I'll be getting stoned for Christmas. Smoking all the way. Frosty nugs. Roll 'em up and smoke 'em. Yeah, we could have some crack there. GB, great show as always, Marty. I got to bounce, guys and gals. Chat and talk to you during the week. Not a bother, GB. Have a nice evening, dude, and be safe out there, dude. And we'll catch you back here on Friday, hopefully. John Finnegan as well, so some sandwich. Others in the audience, so many comments coming in. Hype's GoFundMe to buy Martin a bottle of ice. So nice one, Hype. Smoky Smoke says Billy Bonds. John Finnegan says, no, not really. Still on a semi-tea break. I will smoke a dirty hand-rolled tobacco cigarette with you, though. Nah, John. Not allowed to smoke tobacco on this show, boy. You have to go over to High and Homegrown for that, boy. Even though Mackie might kick you out of there now soon, he'll have no tobacco smokers over there either. Now we're all inclusive here, John, boy. You're alright, boy. Just roll the window down, that's all. Tucker as well, learn something new every day. Stoner card game. Yeah, there's a few of them out there as well. Like, what was the other one? I think like R420 had like the bear pong, but I was suggesting them to change it to bong pong and just put little bowls, like just create fake little bowls, a little straw into each cup, like, you know, and it's like fucking, it's a bong now. Buddy bells. Jingle buds. Jingle buds, buddy bells. Zaggles. I had a ceramic bong once, was able to put it in the freezer for 15 minutes, meant smooth hits for the day. And you know what I had before? It was really cool, a chillum. I used to like that, and it was like a big solid piece of pipe, but you were able to stick that into the freezer as well, and it'd be like really cold. And you know, you'd kind of use it, and then like you wouldn't really get cool hits all day though. Like, you know, you're kind of talking about maybe an hour, depending on how many hits you're taking from the bloody thing, like, you know. 12 blunts of Xmas, says Callum Cully. Yes. Hunter K says, we still got to do 12 days of bluntness, Martin. Yep. 12 days of bluntness. High and home run, another dig at high and home run. No love for the crew now, eh? Nothing but love, nothing but love. Fair play, Mackie, with the tobacco. Yeah, good stuff, dude. Keep it up. That tobacco is definitely something that you know what, once we get cannabis legalized and regulated, and it becomes a lot cheaper, because it doesn't need to be the price that it is currently. People won't be really mixing it then anymore with their tobacco, because they'll kind of see the health benefits to switching to alternatives, such as maybe even just like using a shake, you know, or low CBD strains with a high CBD strain, you know, mixed together as an alternative. But yeah, tobacco is definitely something like that. Like, and even the price of it at the moment, I said that a while ago, it's like 80% of the price of tobacco at the moment is tax, lads. And you tell me you can't afford to smoke cannabis pure? It's just like, you look at your paying for the tobacco at the moment. It's like 15 quid now for like a 20 odd box. Like, they come in 23 boxes now or some shit like that, is it? It's like 15 euro there for a box of bags. Like, it's mad shit, like. Wear the gimp mask once and everyone thinks you're the mug. And Pods4420 says, first impressions and all that, Mackie. Yeah, the pricing is ridiculous, John. It is. Like, I hearing people again, like that. There was one young fella actually messaged me, and it was a very moving message. It was after I wrote that article last week, kind of just sharing my experiences with cannabis prohibition and my mental health. And he's 19. And he was telling me as to how his family were like very derogatory towards his use of cannabis, as his mum caught him using cannabis, despite the fact that he's found it very beneficial for himself in his life. I believe himself and his friends, you know, that consume it. I think that he said that he creates music, if memory's recalling. Don't want to give away who this guy was. He kind of messaged me anonymously, but I just have to say I was very moved by the message, because he said, you know, by me doing what I was doing, it let him know he wasn't alone, and it gave him strength to kind of to not be ashamed of who he is, by knowing he's not alone in all of this. Like, so that was good to know, but also included anyway, to go back to what John was saying, the price of cannabis. Himself and his friends, when they were in like secondary school and stuff like that, they used to chip in to buy cannabis, and they used to pay 25 euro for like 1 gram bags. He was saying, like 1 gram, 1.2 grams. He was saying, like, you know, that he'd get 25 euro. Himself and his buddies would chip in, and they'd kind of have a smoke of it after school or and stuff like that. He said his cannabis use was never a problem. Like, done grand in school, was never really an issue. But it was only an issue when he got caught by his mum then, and she was kind of referring to him as being like a druggie, a junkie, he's going to get addicted to heroin, and, you know, it was kind of, you know, all of this kind of fear-mongering stuff, like. So it was yeah, it was a good message to receive. It was a moving message, but it was like nice to know that what I was doing was being helpful for somebody like that as well. But crazy price to be paying, 25 euro for a gram, like 2 grams 50 quid, like, seriously, like. Yeah, Tucker says, let's do it, buddy. Not a bother at all, Tucker, man. We can roll up an old fatty there and we'll hook up sometime. And I got plenty of mics. I got a nice soundboard here and shit like that, man. We can hook up a guitar to it as well if it's needed. It's all mobile as well, so I can come to you, dude, if you prefer. It might be a bit cramped up here where I am at the moment. But yeah, let's touch base and maybe let's do something. 22nd of December as well, Tucker. It's Cork City. I'll be doing a cannabis brownie giveaway in memory of a lady by the name of Mary Rapon, cannabis activist over in California. She gave out in San Francisco. She gave out cannabis to AIDS patients there. Cannabis was very beneficial for the patients at the time. I believe she was like producing over 4,000 brownies a week, or was it a month, and giving them all, I think, like for free or to like a very low cost to patients, AIDS patients, within the gay community. You know, in San Francisco, I believe that they had quite a large gay community there at the time. So on the 22nd of December in Cork City, I'm going to be giving out free cannabis brownies. So looking for some volunteers. I'd like to have a few people agreed that they're going to meet me there in the city, and we're going to give them out at about 4:20. And we're going to play some cannabis tunes, cannabis Christmas tunes. I think I can find it here now, just one of them. No, can't I find it now? There we go. This was where I found it the other day. It's like 12 stoner songs for the high holidays. I'll Be Stoned for Christmas. Adam Sandler's has got one there. Willie Nelson has one. Louis Armstrong, Christmas Night in Harlem is up there. Christmas Trees by Major Lazer is there. But then it was Snoop Dogg's one. It's like Snoop Dogg's "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So we got Snoop. There he's hitting the bong there, yeah.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the hood ain't shit that was stirring. Nope, it was all good.
It was all good.
The stocking was hung on my big fat dick. We was hoping to get some of that good shit from old Jolly Saint Nick.
The children were snuggled up, sleeping in bed. My bitch on my jock, giving holiday head.
When outside my crib, there rose such a clatter. I stuck my head out and yelled, "What the fuck is the matter?"
Then a fat red pimp got out of his ride. It was perfectly clear he was from the north side.
Yo, Santa, what's up? Did you bring me some chronic? And Tanqueray gin, I can mix with my tonic.
He said, "Ho, ho, ho," and opened his sack. It was stuffed full of endo. Had to take a step back.
Is this for the dog? Did you bring this for me? To blaze with my hoes and my closest homie?
He just nodded his head, his eyes about shut. It was then that I knew that St. Nick was fucked up.
He ate all my motherfucking cookies I left on the plate. Then he went in the fridge and he ate and he ate, and that fat motherfucker ate.
And when he was done, when the cupboard was bare, he packed his shit up and got out of there.
Good night, doggy dog, he said from the sky. Merry Christmas to all you motherfuckers, and to all a good high. Merry Christmas
From the dog pound.
He's not here, man.
And everybody, have a happy new year. Ho, ho, ho.
Why you laugh, dog?
So ho 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 from Snoop Doggy Dogg. Which I came across some of those tracks there on that I just put it back up on screen there just so you can go find us if you want it. That's the up to the top of the screen. 12 stoner songs for the high holidays. And that's where I kind of found that as amongst a couple of others inside there as well. If you'd like to go check them out. But yeah, on 4/20, 22nd, Free Brownies, Cork City, going to have some Cannabis tunes blaring out there in the city centre, down by Brown Thomas. So that's where we're going to be, Thomas. Down inside Brown Thomas. So you'll hear us before you see us, and I'll do my best to save you slice there. If you get down there not long after 4:30, I'll do my best. Can't make no promises. Depends on how many shows up. I'm just going to literally just go down and it's going to have the loudspeaker, and it's going to be like free cannabis brownies for anybody who would like to try some free cannabis brownies. So let's see what happens there. Let's see how many popo are out there watching right now, fucking running to their sergeant. He's going to be giving out free brownies. We're going to get him. Legend. Nice one, Tugger. Nice one. Shy Son said he's going to be there as well. Legends, that's the job. Nice one. Another few recruits. It's good to have people that I know who I'll be giving it to. At least then I'll know that your tolerance will be able to handle what I can give you. Or at least if your tolerance is not up, hopefully you'll say it. Bob Marley says, I like the wash, Dr. Dre. Have respect for motorsport, man. You got to have a party, man. We only had one with the Cannabis Activist Alliance last weekend, the weekend before actually. But yeah, but the wash was good, man. Yeah. Fucking that scene with Snoop, and he's like trying to get the password into the to the car, and just like a voice activated password. He's like, "Oh, can you repeat that again?" Oh. So yeah, yes, great scenes. Yeah, The Wash was a great movie though. If you haven't seen The Wash, guys, you're in for a treat. Check that out. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, fucking great movie. Exhibit and a few others were in it. Ice Cube and stuff, I think. Things funny. There's like fucking few names popping into my head there now. But great movie. Can we use our spanners in those tunes? John Evan vibing with Snoop's Christmas tune. It's nice to get one or two tunes in there. Like when I end the stream there in a minute, I'd probably get like some copyright infringement thing. It's like you can't monetize it, but I'm just like, I never monetize my videos. Like it's like, stop fucking telling me about this shit. Like sometimes I might try to monetize an interview I might do, but like I've even given up about them, because as soon as you're having a discussion about cannabis, it's like they kind of like don't allow you to monetize that video. Then there afterwards, it's like it's not really eligible, or sometimes it's like semi-eligible. So you're just like, I don't really mind. You get fucking pennies off them anyway, like depending on like, you want to be getting like those millions of views to be getting anything worthwhile there from your streams coming in. Like I'm just happy that I'm able to give a place where almost 60 people at a time there could be coming watching, and just finding a community within the hot box there beside me. That makes it all worthwhile. Like, so as long as they don't take that away from me, I don't give a shit about monetizing this. Get some great support coming in from people like Greenbird, people like Hype out there, Casa de Strogas, Podge, and many others, guys. There's so many of you out there who've thrown support towards the show, towards the fight for cannabis legalization, guys, and it doesn't go unnoticed. 3 copy strikes and shut down your channel, mate. No, I'm not getting any copyright strikes. None of them are violations, because I'm not monetizing the videos, and like it's not. I've not gotten any strikes. They'll always say it in the email I'll get, like as soon as I hit the end video, there'll be an email come through, and it's just like, just to know that these guys, like, if you monetize the video, that the money goes to them, or they can monetize my videos. Sometimes they have the power to monetize my videos. So sometimes you might get an ad on one of my videos when you go onto it, because maybe these guys chose to do it. But quite often or not, no, it's just if you don't monetize the video, they don't interfere with it. So you kind of get away with things. Like Joe Rogan probably was getting a couple of 100 million views there, like, so it was probably worth his while to be able to keep his videos monetized. Whereas me, you know, my videos get like a couple of hundred views there at times, which is great. But monetizing those things, it's just like, if I drop that money, like, you know, it's just like, I hate saying it, but it's like sometimes you wouldn't pick it up. You know, if you dropped a couple of cent there, you know, you're just kind of like, you might keep walking, like. But it does all add up, so you shouldn't be dropping money like that. You know, it's just kind of a sin to be saying that. But it's kind of a figure of speech, you know. I wouldn't pick it up if I dropped it. But yeah, no, I've not got any copyright strikes. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. JJ's out there. We're all sound out. We wouldn't report you, man. Nice one, JJ. You're a legend. And John Finnegan as well says, absolutely hate this time of year. Nothing good ever happened for me at this time of year. In fact, most of the bad shit in my life happened at this time of year. Shit, John. Sorry to hear that, dude. Yeah, Christmas can definitely be, you know, a bad time of year for people. Like, I suppose the hardest part for me at this time of year was is past now. The 5th or the 6th of December, there's always quite a sad time for myself. Just gets very down. Just it's the anniversary of my cousin Daniel, who I named my son after. But yeah, once I kind of get over that, then, you know, it's kind of it's not as bad then after that. But then Christmas Day now is like fucking always going to be remembered as the day as I lost my dog, man, Spike, of 17 years, like almost 18 years, like fucking, if I got him to that summer. But yeah, Christmas is shit otherwise, like, you know what I mean? But only for the kids, like, yeah, that makes it all the more worthwhile. But yeah, I can understand, man, sometimes with people out there, man, Christmas can be shit for people. So yep. Sorry about that, John. If you ever want to chat, dude, if you ever want to call down to Cork by for an old hot chocolate, dude, I'm more than happy to entertain you, dude, for more than an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or 4:20. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Great job, says Keith Allen. Nice one, Keith. And Bob Marley as well. A lot of people don't like Xmas. Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I know for a lot of people it's not a great time of year, but I suppose for myself, having kids is still a bit of magic in the air for me around Christmas. It kind of keeps it alive now. Having a family and all of that, like, but again, you know, there is sore parts of it there as well. So I could sympathize for other people. You know, it's like it's made easier for me because I've like family and all of this shit. Like, but you know, some people are like alone, you know, and that's when they remember now. It's like, oh shit, I should be with my family now. But for whatever reasons, you know, like Lisa talked about there last night in High and Homegrown, how her dad now, because of her being criminalised for cannabis and all of this, like, doesn't really treat her with the respect that she deserves. Almost looks at her as like some lesser kind of person now, as a druggie. So I'd imagine, you know, maybe on Christmas, people like Lisa as well, as a result of cannabis prohibition, you know, she's might be a bit sad, you know, it's kind of being, Dad, why do you feel this way about me? You know, it's like problem sum. But yeah, Christmas, man, it is what it is. But for the kids, it's fucking great, isn't it? Except for the small kids, mate, and all the ties in the countries that we won't mention now, because my stream probably would get shut down. What you say about beep? Lovely, lovely. So guys, yes, we're 2 hours and 25 minutes now. I think it was about a half an hour ago I'd said I'd start saying goodbye, and still, yeah, you know, almost over 50 of you are still out there, guys, and thanks very much to each and every one of you guys who've tuned in here today. Made it my while. I really enjoy doing these shows for yourselves. Some of the news can be a bit sore to cover at times, but it is very worthwhile to be covering this stuff, and it's great to see the community growing as well out there. You know, I see a few new faces there popping in. Maybe that's from the weekend's activities, but it's good to see an ever-growing community, and will continue to grow. As we say, 2022 is going to be a very, very big year, and we're going to see a lot of new faces come out and join this campaign and get more active. So I look forward to that. I welcome that. So bring on 2022, but until then, we'll be back on Friday, guys, with more 420 news. Also coming up will be a chat with Phil Monk, fellow activist Phil Monk, over there in the UK. Not too sure where exactly Phil is based in the UK, but myself and Phil will be having a chat in the morning, and yeah, that should be fun. Also, the guys at Crown have asked me to do an interview with themselves. For Crown, they want to have a featured piece there on Crown, and they want to do that tomorrow evening, which will be interesting. I look forward to see what's happening there. Look forward to working with the guys. Hopefully we can kind of build relationships there, and again, strengthen the Cannabis Activist Alliance within Ireland. Then, get everybody out working on that one fucking common goal, which is to end this cannabis prohibition once and for all, and to undo all of the kind of criminalisation that went with it over the years, and to give reparations, where possible, to people, who are worthy of it, So yeah, John Finnegan as well, absolutely. Yeah, nice one. Sorry, we read that. I thought that was no comment. Bob Marley, got a party going for Xmas, man. Get the tunes in, man. Welcome back, Martin, as well, says Ford, nice and dude. And Chilbert UK, thank you, Martin, and all in chat, great stuff. And High and Homegrown says, Phil is on High and Homegrown for Conspiracy Special on Wednesday. Oh shit, Mackie. Alright, are you just talking conspiracy stuff? Shit, dude. I didn't realize that you were going to be having them on. I won't be doing it live anyway. At least I wasn't really intending to. So I can do that interview, and hopefully we don't cover like too much ground there. But it seems like you're going to be like going off on deep conspiracy stuff. So hopefully we're not crossing over too much. I'm looking to pick up the conversation there with Phil around what's going on in the UK around just the kind of the campaign being set about there by Boris, and the announcement of it there a couple of weeks ago, and also stuff around Outlaw as well. So that's what I'm looking to chat with him about. So hopefully we don't cross over there too much. Nice one, yeah, great guy. It'll be a good convo for sure, says High and Homegrown. Nice one, High and Homegrown. Yeah, just conspiracy stuff, mate. Nice one. Yeah, no, that's good. Sorry, shit. Because once all of this stuff kind of got going, I'm going to be looking to get Guy on as well, and kind of just get the opinion of people. I'm going to look to try to get Trev on as well, and to just see what's going to be going on in the UK for next year from all of these activists. Hopefully I can catch up with Gary Hughes as well, another great activist there in the UK. But I'm looking to really just to get in touch with all of the activists now, and even in Ireland, I suppose I'll have a think about who's out there that I could be getting in touch with, that to have a chat with about next year for Ireland. If anybody's out there and they want to have a chat, if you're one of the campaigners here, I won't mention any names, but if you'd like to have a chat, I'd love to get that going. Maybe another little party for the Cannabis Activist Alliance if some of them want to go live here on the Martin's World and discuss a few things, see what brings them to the table, what's motivating each different person and stuff. I'd love to get that interview done, so let's see what happens. But yeah, we'll get a good few interviews done there before the end of the year anyway, so fingers crossed, all goes well. Yeah, nice one, guys. So stay blazed out there. Oh, we get the new little lower thingy up. Oops, we go back to Cork. Back at Cork. Cork is one of my scenes. It's like the under scene for all of the scenes. Boom. Stay blazed. Oh, do you know what I was missing as well, actually, for the whole show? My 420 News logo. Oh no. Did you all know that you were watching 420 News without it? But stay blazed, all guys, and keep it lit. And I'll see you all on Friday, guys. So I'll see you on Friday, 420. So be there, be square. Much love. Peace.